Well, hello everyone. We had a bit of a reverb there because I had it playing in the background. Sorry. Hi everyone. Welcome to Costume Co.
My global buddies. How are thou?
I am Heidi. I am one of your Game of Queens. I'm like the more salty, like thorny Game of Queens, and then the lovely Tatiana is here with me.
She's the high queen. I'm just I'm one of the lower queens, but I'm still important.
Hardly. Hi everyone. It's so nice to have you here today. We had a wonderful episode yesterday, right, Tatiana?
It was amazing. So many feelings. I swear, my parents were more entertained by my reactions than the actual episode. I was geeking out that hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really exciting, and I got a lot of feels from it. I got chills, and I had actually a couple of really good chill moments, like that the scene with Brienne. I totally got the chills. How about you?
Oh, I nearly cried. I was like, yes, queen, come through, Sir Brienne of Tars, Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Yes.
Yeah, it was a wonderful scene. Lots of great moments last night. So guys, what I've done is I had to close that one window. So Tatiana, you talk for a minute here. I'm just going to reopen this, okay?
Well, so just say hello to like everybody that I see on the chat. Hello, Jose Mercado. Hello, Laura Dane. Hello, Goddess. Hello, Herman, Jasmine, Dina, Middle Earth. Asun, as always, my queen. Hey, y'all. Welcome again to another great post-episode review / costume geek out / fandom freak out of all Game of Thrones from the last episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I've got the window open. Jose is here. Pretty Dark is here. Herman Bum's mom, which is Cindy. Deanna, Middle Earth Lore. Goddess Astrola. So we got a nice little group here today.
Oh, there's a lot of people for being just a story. They usually come as we go.
Yeah, and also because we're doing it sort of at a weird time of the day. So people who are in England, like one of my viewers, she's in Australia, so she said she's going to try and join us because I think for her it would be maybe I don't know what time of the day it would be for her.
For her, it would be around 5 a.m.
5 a.m. and then but people in England it would be evening. So we might not have as many people from North America today, but we'll have lots of people from maybe overseas. So, or people who are coming home from work, we might get them in.
Well, Asun is from Germany, and she's even farther away than England. So, and she's here. So. You ain't got no excuse, England. You know what you do.
All right. So we've got a lot of pictures. So Tatiana, how many times did you watch the episode, Tatiana?
I saw it once with my parents in the actual HBO channel, and then I went dark. I went darks, and I went to streaming and watched it again to get screenshots of all the costumes that I could find.
Yeah. So Tatiana, she did a really good job. She went and did a bunch of screen grabs, and then in the meantime, I went and grabbed a bunch of production stills. So let me just get okay. So we had a very quick sort of like, what was your overall impression? Like, this episode compared to the first episode, the premiere. What was your impression?
I've heard that people are like complaining because these last 2 episodes were slow, and that makes me so freaking mad because they were basically complaining about the exact opposite last season. And it's like, people, this is the calm before the storm. Of course it's gonna be slow because why? Because next episode, shit's gonna hit the fan in a very quick and very hard way. So yes, we need these moments to not only establish where everybody is and where everyone's going, but establish the relationships and why we love these people. And also, a lot of these people are going to die. So
Yeah.
you need like at least the one last hurrah before again shit hits the fan. And
Yeah.
I love this. So I have so many feels. I
Yeah.
have so many freakouts. I get my parents were more entertained by me than the actual episode because oh my god, like Arya and Gendry will get into that.
Yeah.
Brienne and
Yeah.
Jaime will get into that. Like the Jaime's trial, the ending. John and Danny and Sansa,
Oh yeah.
oh, I love those scenes were just masterpieces, and all throughout it, basically just Sansa. This entire episode was Banff, and her costume, girl. We'll get into that. I have so many.
I did another live stream last week, and we were talking about the first episode, and I had kind of given it maybe like a 7 out of 10, and some people liked it better and some people liked it less, but I would say this is probably for me probably like a 9, like this past episode, which
Definitely not. It's not.
Yeah, I'm not going to give it a 10 because there's that, I think we're heading into a big battle, and that I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and besides, it's no like red wedding. It's no Misa. It's no Battle of the Bastards. Not yet. But for being a slow episode, and I think it's probably like if not the only episode, then one of the only episodes in the entire series where someone doesn't die.
Yeah, that was I know it's true. We haven't had a death yet, so that. Oh no, we did. We had Ned Umber. Sorry, we had a Ned Umber in the last episode died, and I guess the entire Umber kingdom, they died. They're now all White Walkers or whites. So we have Vanessa's here. Hey Vanessa. Hey Adrian.
Hey Vanessa.
Hey DJ. Hey please.
Good evening.
Hey DJ, please play that song.
And DJ. And yes, she was.
And Laura, Lady Laura Dane is here. Hi guys, it's so nice to see all of you. I'm really glad you came out. Like it's sort of a weird time of the day. It's like for me, it's 5. Well, it's actually for both of us, it's 5:20. So just after work. I had to work today. It's actually a holiday in Canada, Tatiana. I think I told you. It's Easter Monday. We get the day off. Like this, the kids are off from school today. So which was nice because both my husband and I didn't have to get up early, but I did actually still have to work today. So
honey, it's like ironically I didn't have to get but I had to get up early.
So anyway, now so do you want to how's everyone doing? We're going to just get right into it. Do you want to do that? We'll just get right into the costumes. I wanted to tell everybody, if you didn't get a chance to see the opening, Tatiana designed that logo that we had at the very beginning, the one that swivels around, and then my husband Jack did the actual animation. So I just wanted to say kudos to you, Tatiana, on that. And that was us singing a cappella. Hey, Laura, Lady Dane. Lady Laura Dane. I'm getting it screwed up. Okay, so let's go to the pictures then.
Sure.
I have to skip past the intro here, though. So what do we got here? I had that. This is just the group shot here that I just start with. So now one of the things I was going to say, Tatiana, because like you sent me a bunch of the stills, or like, screen grabs versus some of the stills I had. And of course, the first thing I immediately noticed, and this is always a bit of a thorn in my side, is how dark the show is. So, this is the only thing. And I oftentimes, if I'm doing a video, I will lighten them. So we're looking at these just as they're grabbed from the screen. So this is a really amazing scene here.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
People will say, "Oh, it's unnecessary. We don't care." But it's like, people, this little girl looks like fucking Shireen.
Yeah,
Shireen, a girl who means so much to both Gilly and Davos. Davos saw Shireen as a daughter. Shireen taught Gilly how to read. It's like, people, she's probably gonna die.
Oh! This is funny. This is a tinfoil hat. DJ thinks that little girl is Melisandre. Ooh, that's some interesting stuff. So anyway, yeah, so she had the scar, like the scarring on her face, just like how Shireen had the green scale. And she was a really good little actor. Well, I thought, it's a little actress. There she is. She's so cute. Yeah, with a little one of the things that I was liking, and I mean this will be nice to be able to go back and look on, is they show a lot of the people of the North, like just sort of the not the civilians, the regular folk, and what they wear, and I really like that. And so it'll be nice to be able to kind of go back and look at that. I haven't had enough time, so probably
I actually had sent you like a screen, like one screen grab of like the people like passing, walking right before this scene.
I you know what the problem is, when I did this, I probably did it all out of order. Is it this one? Oh no, that's Tyrion.
It's just this like the transition scene before the scene with Gilly and Davos and the girl.
Is it that one?
That one.
Yeah, so you can kind of get a bit of a hint at to what these people actually wear. It looks sort of very medieval, I think. Homespun fabrics, very natural colors.
Like the texture, it just really gives to the realism of the show. Like it's fine if like the main characters are wearing their own clothes, but if like the background characters don't give that sense of realism, the atmosphere and the world building it's just gone.
Okay, DJ, I hope these aren't spoilers. Like seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, I'm going to ask if you know ahead of anything, please don't do spoilers. Okay, I really appreciate it. We want I've been avoiding spoilers, so if that's just sort of what you think is going to happen, that's totally cool. But if it's actually a spoiler, then please don't do that. Okay, thank you in the chat. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So go ahead, Tatiana.
Yeah, I don't think most. I'm just gonna sacrifice little Sam. That's just a fan theory at most.
Okay.
But yeah, I just love the realism and the groundedness that the costumes give the show, because again, you have the main character, sure, but it's really the background characters that set the mood, that set the atmosphere, set the world.
Yeah. Oh, okay, DJ. Okay, thank you.
Like if you see this picture, you see the North. You see a picture of the Bravosi marketplace with people just walking around, you think that's Bravos. Like each place has like its own distinct feel, and the feel is created not only by the architecture and the setting, but by the people, by the background characters, by the extras. And many of those extras, because I think I've said this already, they're not always treated the best, because they have to go through a lot of schnitzel to be able to just get like a 2-second viewing on the show. And
yeah, absolutely.
Because I think I said this when I went to Northern Ireland and went on the Game of Thrones tour to all the sets. We went to where Renly had his camp. There was actually a parking lot. Yeah. And the tour guide told us how the people, they had to wait for hours. They had to be there since like dawn to be considered. And just wait hours and hours in the cold and rain. People left, but like the ones that stayed, and then they had to look at you and see if you were, made the cut. And those people that waited hours, some of them weren't even chosen. Then the ones that were, they finally got their moment to shine in the show. And after everything happened, and after everything was done, they had to reshoot.
Oh my God! Wow.
So they had to call all the process to go all over again. Like some people went back, but some others said just like, no, I am done. So yeah, that is not easy to be an extra, because at least being a character, even with a one line, you get paid more than an extra.
I know. I know. I've done background, like wardrobe background, and it's like it's crazy what they have to do. Sorry if I'm trying to arrange my screens here. Okay, so
let me just answer some of these things in the chat.
Oh, sure.
Asen
Yeah,
said, I love this episode. It was like everyone was getting their own little scene, like a goodbye to people we might lose in the next episode. Yeah, that's why I
yeah,
love these two episodes, because it's been a year and a half, people. We have
totally.
missed these people. We have not seen them for many, many moons. You have to like you can't this is not Star Wars where you have to like begin with a big battle scene or else people will revolt like they did with
Yeah,
Phantom Menace. This is gradual. This has to the suspense has to build. And like a YouTube reviewer that I like called Council of Geeks. I don't know if any of you see him. He says that this episode was really good because you could feel the dread, you could feel the
yeah,
suspense
totally.
just pervading through the entire episode, like the sword of Damocles was hanging right over their heads. And people, and like what they did, what Arya did, what Jaime and Brienne and Tormund and everyone, that's what happens in wars when you know you might not live to see tomorrow. You just, it was, honestly, it was like a celebration of life. That's what I called it.
Totally.
I called it. It was a celebration of life. And I
Yeah.
love that. And yes, Middle Earth lore, we will get to Gendry and Arya all in due
Yeah.
time.
So, okay, let me go. Okay, so next I've got here, I have Jorah. Lots of great
Yeah.
scenes with Jorah.
I
So,
love Jorah. I think he's gonna die. He's probably
yeah,
gonna die because
yeah,
he seems like that like this episode was like the end of his arc. Like he's gotten over his arc, over his feelings for Daenerys. He knows he's never gonna that him and Dany are never gonna happen, and he's okay with it. Like he's
yeah.
not angry. He's not angry that he's not the hand. He's like he's counseling her and being there for her and just doing what he always did. And he feels like he's at peace, and I love that.
Um, I now we kind of quickly looked at his costume last week. So, like
Yeah.
we mentioned that he has the same armor as last episode, last
Yeah.
season, but he's got this really nice fur cloak. What did you think of that?
Oh, I love the fur cloak, and also
Yeah.
we hadn't seen like the back of the armor that, as far as I can
Yeah,
remember.
there was some good shots. Like, I mean, you've got one here. It's a little bit dark with him and
Yeah.
Danny. So there's a great scene with him and Danny where he's sort of, he's. What did you think about the way she reacted? Like, I'm still a little not super happy about how they're writing her. How did you feel about how she's sort of slightly turning on Tyrion?
Well, she is justified. I mean, he's made a lot of grave mistakes. Like,
He's made mistakes because they've written him to make mistakes, though.
yeah,
Which, and then in turn I'm like, well, it does seem odd. I don't know. I feel like they're setting her up. I feel like they're setting her up to be a bad guy.
yeah. Um, In the Geek actually made a video about
Mhm.
why are they making Tyrion so dumb?
Yeah.
Why are they making him do
I
so
love
many
him.
mistakes?
By the way, if you guys haven't watched In Deep Geek, he's amazing. His name's Robert. He's got a really sexy voice. He's got like
I
a super.
swear that man should do ASMR like as a
He
side job.
he does
He was,
actually. He reads novels like that you can
ooh,
listen to, and like he does all the classics. So I know he did like Great Expectations, I think, I think it was like some kind of Dickens he did. So he does read them so you can listen to them. Yeah, he's just got this really buttery, soft British voice. Anyway, I love listening to him.
yeah,
I
I
was
could listen to him forever. Like I literally sometimes when I'm having trouble sleeping, I go to his playlist about the trip around Westeros he's doing,
yeah,
the tour around Westeros that he does. That he goes to each and every city and in every kingdom,
yeah, yeah.
and I just listen to that and I just fall asleep.
Yeah, he's got anyway, so he was talking about how they've dumbed down Tyrion.
Yeah,
I didn't
and
watch it, so what do you say?
what he said was maybe he's actually doing a long con because
Yeah,
when John arrived in Dragonstone and said what he said about the Night King, Tyrion believed him. That from the moment John told them about the Night King and the Army of the Dead, he believed him. But at the same time, he knew that Dany was going to be concentrated on the Seven Kingdoms and not see the big picture. That's why he maybe purposefully, in a sense, kept making mistakes to like push her into going up north.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe make it's like he's almost sacrificing himself and his integrity so for the greater good, for the good of the kingdom, for the good of humanity. Because he knew that Dany had to see the Army of the Dead. She had to see the White Walkers so that she could ride north and just put the whole Cersei thing on hold. And that's why that is why he went and proposed getting a white and showing it to Cersei, because it's not only Cersei who needs to see this, it's Dany.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna sort of probably wait until the show is done before I have my full like. I kind of waited until last season when this whole thing with Arya and Sansa happened to kind of come out and say that I didn't like that. I didn't like the whole tension that happened between the two of them, and I didn't feel that they ever really resolved it there in the end. I've found a lot of fault with some of the writing with Dave and Dan. That's my personal opinion. I mean, we're obviously talking about the costumes, but obviously that sort of informs the costumes a lot of time.
This is a costume review.
Tyrion is dumber is because Benioff and Weiss aren't as clever as Martin when it comes to writing him. Well, yeah, so that's, this is what I've sort of been leaning toward. So I'll have to just wait until the whole show is done to see if is any kind of payoff for him actually playing the long con. Like, we'll have to see. Or is it just, I just feel like he's been thrown under the bus by the writers. And I'm not really sure because, I mean, he has always been Martin's favorite character. And I'm not saying that he should necessarily survive. I mean, obviously, I mentioned last time, I would be really heartbroken. But if it served this story, I would be totally fine with that. With him dying, right? So anyway,
I will revolt. I will revolt because you don't.
You will revolt.
I will revolt. I will go to
I think at this point,
I will throw rocks at his house.
Okay, so we sort of talked about Jorah. So Jorah looks great. We're pretty good with that.
Also, there's a picture I sent that was like a full length shot of him and his cloak from the back.
I can barely even
the fur. It actually looks almost like brocade. It's like furcade. Yeah.
It's sort of modeled, I think, right? It has that sort of. I can honestly. These are so dark. I can barely even see them.
Yeah, well, you don't see it here, but there's some of the pictures that I sent.
So if we come to it, just mention it. Okay. So then when we go to Jaime, now I want to give you this as an example of how the color correction on this is and the filters and everything have affected this. So Jaime is wearing red here and you would never know it. Like someone asked me what color his coat was in one of the scenes. And I said, that's actually red. Like, the sexy red, baby got back red. What did we call it? Baby got sexy back. What did you guys call it?
Bringing sexy back.
Bringing sexy back. It's actually this outfit here is actually his bringing sexy back. If you guys saw our top 20 best men's Game of Thrones costumes, so this is Jaime's red. It's sort of like a blood red, dark red, right? Color, not blood red, but like a dark red color. Tatiana, whatever you call it. So you can see in the scene how dark it is. And that's just the lighting and the filters, and it's all done. They do color grading at the end. Everything's digital, by the way. I saw you guys chatting about film, so everything is shot digital nowadays. So it's all done in post. And so this is something always interesting. Like the costume designer has to always keep that in mind when they're designing. So I mean, she might be okay with that because I was making a joke the other day that it kind of saves on the costume budget because then they can, they don't have to create a new costume. It looks like a whole new costume, right? Oxblood red. Yes. Hindsight, I think that's a good description, right, Tatiana? Oxblood red?
Yeah.
It's kind of into the, you're in the Lannister red, more into the darker tones as opposed to that brilliant, crimson red. Yeah. So, and then of course, then he adds that armor, right? Which, people were saying look kind of like Robb Stark. I had said that I thought it looked just like kind of like a northern armor, and you'll probably see if I can find a picture of it. You'll probably notice like he's got sort of the pauldrons, which are really actually kind of like the Tully shoulder pauldrons that they wore. The Tarleys. And then the gorget, which is the neck covering. The Robb Stark wore one like that, but we also see it on the Hound, and we actually in this episode they had it on Beric Dondarrion was wearing one like this. It's actually I found a picture of an actual medieval gorget that looks just like that with the rivets on it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we have someone new.
And then Tyrion's wearing like a little bit of a breastplate underneath his tunic as well.
Yeah, and under that he's wearing the jerkin he wore in the last episode of last season.
Hey, Glue Guns. Oh, hey, Glue Guns and Roses. She's here. Hi. I'm so glad you were able to come by. She has such a great channel name, eh? Glue Guns and Roses, Tatiana.
Yeah.
She's a crafting channel. So if anybody's into crafting, and then of course, I guess she's a big Guns N' Roses fan, maybe. So she sort of put the two together. I love that name. Yeah, the Hound, Vanessa. So yeah, it's sort of a northern armor. So because I think some people were like, where did he get that armor? Did he take it from Robb Stark? I mean, we did do that whole thing about Theon and what's the other Robb Stark's wedding gown, wedding costume, that being the same. But I think in terms of Jaime having Robb Stark's armor, I just think it's just some armor that they gave him. But I did want to point out, let me just see if I can find this picture here.
Oh, by the way, DJ asked, what about Tyrion and Jaime's hair color? They both turned darker. Oh,
I don't know what that is all about, to be honest with you. I actually, I think Jaime's kind of almost gone a bit salt and peppery. I actually don't agree with what they've done with that, because Cersei's got the same sort of platinum, not platinum, but almost like
golden.
Yeah. So that was a very weird choice. And I think I've mentioned to you guys before that the people who do the hair and makeup are different people than do the costumes. So Michelle Clapton wouldn't really have any say in all of that. So they have one person who's in charge of makeup and like hair pieces, or like, facial hair and prosthetics. And then another person who's in charge of hair and wigs. So it's his own hair. I don't know if he just didn't want to color it anymore, or they decided maybe it would look like he's aged. I thought maybe that's why they did it. I'm not really sure.
I thought it was more maybe it was more like symbolic, because like they said, like he said in a conversation with Tyrion, like he can never go back to being the Golden Lion. And that is evident in his hair.
I get that, but then there's this whole plot point at the very beginning of the book about the Baratheons being dark and the Lannisters being fair. And so that for me it kind of makes me a little unsettled, because then I'm like, well, yeah, but if they're all blonde, and then, say you've got someone like Gendry who's a brunette because he's actually a Baratheon. And then of course there was that whole like, paternity regarding the Lannister children, right? So that they're all blonde. So that's why it kind of doesn't work for me. Like if they hadn't set that up in the show to begin with, I'd be like, okay, but it was such a significant plot point. Yeah, no, Pastel. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, no, totally. That's why I was thinking why they might have done that with Jaime, because he has aged. It is pretty significant. Like he has aged quite a bit. It's been over 10 years, right? So yeah. And I think obviously at the beginning, because I saw Nikolai Coster-Waldau in a TV show before Game of Thrones, and he was a brunette. Like he was never really a platinum blonde then. So they obviously colored his hair for the show. But anyway, what I was going to point out is this cloak he wears that he wore at the very end of season 7, and then he shows up in Winterfell in this cloak. He's got it on his hood. What I want to know is, this is Stannis's cloak. And I think, did we talk about this last week? That he's wearing Stannis's cloak? Why he's wearing Stannis's cloak? Maybe it was on another show I did.
Oh, by the way, Goddess Shola says a lot of blondes darken as they age. Maybe it's that.
Yeah, except for Cersei. So that's why I'm,
Cersei's special. She's frozen in time.
Yeah, and I mean, she calls, and you know how I feel about her wig, which she calls the turnip, which I think is such a great word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get in so many fights with people. I don't even, do you even read the comments anymore, Tatiana, on the videos? Have you read any of them recently?
From your costumes videos?
Yeah. Have you read any of the comments? I just, yeah.
Recently, but I have read a few when they come out.
No, Goddess. I'm not referring to why they've. Yeah, I'm talking about character, the color for the character, not the color for the person. So yeah. So this is what we're speaking of. I'm not speaking of like that they can't have, because obviously Nikolai Coster-Waldau, they were able to dye his hair, and they could have continued to dye his hair. So this was an intentional choice. The same with like, Sansa, that she's wearing a wig now because she was having some problems. She's actually naturally a blonde.
Yeah.
So,
because she looks so good as a redhead.
She does. It really suits her.
Yeah.
So what do you think? What do you think about the cloak idea then? Why do you think he's wearing Stannis's cloak?
I think it's just something that he found, and maybe and again, like Michelle Clapton, if she finds a fashion that she likes, she's gonna incorporate it again.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she likes Stannis's cape so much that she wanted to incorporate it again.
Well, the character died. She probably had it in the wardrobe, and she probably was like, "Hey, we need a cloak for Jaime, a traveling cloak. This one would work, right? It's already broken down, looks pretty good. It's very, I mean, except for nerds, most people probably wouldn't even notice."
Yeah.
Hindsight says she's always hated Cersei's wig. It was so obviously not her real hair. I didn't like Natalie Dormer's wig either. Yeah, there are times where I thought her wig looked really bad too. Like you could really tell that the hairline didn't look natural. And I like the style of her hair, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, the guy who does the wigs, I know he has an enormous job, and but yeah, I mean, it's really, to be honest with you, it's really hard to do wigs and have it pull it off and have it look good. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked with wigs. It's really, really hard to have it look better than real hair, even if you're using real hair, and even if you're using hair front lace and all that type of thing. So it's a challenge, especially if the person has quite a bit of hair that they have to then put underneath the wig. So it's always going to be difficult. It's always going to be a challenge. And does Jaime know about Gendry? I don't know. Tatiana, do you know?
From what I can remember, the whole killing of the bastards, it was primarily a Cersei and Joffrey thing. So I think Jaime Jaime might have been involved because it was the Kingsguard and the city watch that killed the bastards. So he might have known.
He's the one that they. Yeah, but then nobody knew.
He knew about the killing of the bastards. As for Gendry in particular, I don't know.
Yeah, I just want to say, hindsight's just talking about in the close-ups of the wig. This is the other thing I want to point out, and this is an especially huge challenge for TV shows now because everything is shot in high def, in digital, and like my husband works in this medium, that's why I know a little bit about it. It shows everything. Like, you can't hide anything. So in the old days, like, you used to be able to kind of get away with it, right? But now, because there's so many close-ups and you can see every little thing, like, you can even see the makeup now, I find, which is why actually they don't usually even use makeup on men unless it's like breakdown makeup. So yeah, it's a really challenging thing. But of course, with all the dark now, I mean, it's hiding a lot. So let me, who should we go to next? What do you want to talk about?
Let's go Sansa.
Okay.
Let's go to Sansa because
I've got this one picture over here. Okay, so what do you think of this?
Love this. I love this so much. Everything too dramatic. A little bit too dramatic.
Yeah. So, so some people were saying that it has like a little bit of a Targaryen feel to it.
Honestly, I when I saw this, the first thing I thought was Cersei. It was giving me some Japanese samurai realness, really, if you think about it.
Samurai?
Like, I thought samurai with like the strips of leather.
Yeah.
It just gave me like a sort of Japanese samurai feel, I believe.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because I said Targaryen and you said Cersei. So, like for instance, the Dragon Demands, who has a great channel, he on Wikipedia, like if you go to the Wikia, he sort of makes the assertion that the Lannisters have actually taken that Japanese sort of look from the Targaryens. So it was the Targaryens that originally had that sort of Japanese style. Now we only have a few examples of it, like we have with what is it? What's Danny's brother's name again? I can never say it. Viserys. Thank you.
Yeah.
So his outfit is an example, of that style, that sort of asymmetrical, like you see on the Lannister men. So it does definitely have a Japanese feel. Now, what I was going to say, a few people have mentioned this to me. I don't think, like, I know it kind of looks armor-like, but I don't think it's actually armor. I'm calling it a bodice, like a leather bodice, because as a piece of armor, it wouldn't do anything. So they've just taken like a base and then they've added these sort of overlapping strips of leather, right? Whereas in Japanese armor, it would have been lacquered and like lamellars. So it would be leather that has been lacquered and coated to give it that rigid stiffness. Or if it was medieval, it would be boil leather. So as a bodice, I love it. But if they're actually considering this armor, I would say that it's not. Yeah.
Like, you are cute, that is not it, though.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about it being, what about you think about her all in black, though?
She looks good. And besides, it's not all black, because, like, the underdress, it looks more gray. It looks more like charcoal gray to me.
Yeah, I have a couple of close-ups. Let me see. Here's a close-up here. I've got. So there's the back, by the way, everyone. So it goes on, so she goes into it from the front and then it laces up at the back, kind of like, like an armadillo or a potato bug, which, Michelle's been talking, the designer, she's been talking a lot about how a lot of the costumey bits are sort of like animal or like insects. So we've got like the prehistoric shoulder pauldrons on Cersei, and then we've got sort of, I refer to Dany's sort of collar as like being cobra-like, which is a throwback to season 4 and 5. And we've got a lot of these, armadillo style armor that they had on. You're gonna have to help me, Tatiana, with this today. I can't remember names. From the second trial by combat. From Dorne. It was like an armadillo. Oberyn, thank you. So his was kind of an armadillo style leather, like hardened leather. So yeah, she tends to use nature a lot in sort of her elements like that. Now, I'm going to say, just as a general thing, and you guys, and this isn't the first time I've said it, I'm not 100% thrilled with everything being so dark and black. Like, I'm just not, I don't like it, because personally for me, it's not really telling the story as much as how Clapton used color in earlier seasons. And I understand the whole, she's shutting down the color, or, shutting down color to show this seriousness of the situation. But at the same time, because the scenes are becoming darker and darker and darker, like, I'm actually surprised I've got a bit of a lighter picture here on the right. I'm not as happy with it. And I kind of like, so if they're going to do black, I think it would have been better maybe just to keep that to Cersei, because she's kind of going into that Darth Vader realm. Whereas like Sansa, she's not an ingenue, but she's still like she's still younger. And I don't know. And it's not really a northern color. Like, so northern color would have been more like gray or that soft green that's in their sigil. Yeah, I would, or she was using the blues, like maybe a blue black might have been okay. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm going to throw that out there.
Well, I think it all boils down to the fight of good versus evil. That is like the White Walkers versus humanity.
Yeah.
Because it's like a video from the take, the people that used to be Spring Prism, which
yeah. Why did they change that name?
They made a video about why they had to change it. Maybe it was because
was it a legal issue? Yeah, because I like their other name better.
It usually is. I didn't see that video, but it probably is. Either way, they made a video on the Night's Watch, and they said that one of the reasons why they wear all black, it's because there's a reverse on the good versus evil symbolism, because we usually see the concept of good as light, as the light among the darkness, the good amongst the evil, like the white against the black. But it's reverse. Reverse. Is the white is the darkness and the black is the light. Yeah. They are the black protectors amongst a icy white wasteland.
Yeah, like so you mean like the Night's Watch.
Yeah, basically. So what I think Michelle Clapton did was take the concept of Night's Watch and the themes of the Night's Watch and just expanded it to incorporate the North and like that battle. Because and I agree with you. I do hate that it's hard to see because it's so dark. But at the same time, I can understand where they're getting at. It's all about symbolism, especially in a show as thematically heavy as Game of Thrones. It's all about symbolism, and as we have seen in previous seasons, in all the seasons, really. Yeah, the costumes are one of the primary examples of symbolism.
Yeah, well, I can see. Okay, I haven't seen Michelle say anything like that, because like for instance, Star Wars. You've got the baddies in white, and you've got, except for Darth Vader, and then you have, then you'll have the natural, and except for Leia, who's in white as well. And what I thought was really interesting there is that you're like, okay, why are the stormtroopers in white when they're the bad guys, but you've got Darth Vader and some of the other commanders are in black. But what he expressed there, the designer on that, John Mallow, is that that's supposed to be the technological world. Yeah. So the technological world is in black and white, and then Tatooine and those other regions and the Jedi, which are an older order, they're more in natural colors. So I think that's an interesting analysis, but I haven't seen Michelle Clapton say that to support that. You know what I mean? She's never actually come out and said that. Hi, Secrets of the Citadels here. It's so nice to see you. I'm so glad you popped by. I love your channel. I watch it all the time. Gemma. Hi, Gemma. It's really nice to see you. I'm so glad you popped in. Yeah, so I think that's an interesting idea. I just don't know if I completely buy it. I think that it's kind of getting a little bit into steampunk. This is sort of what I'm feeling. It doesn't feel like clothing as much to me now. It feels more like costumes. And I keep going back to that because Michelle Clapton had said at the very beginning in season 1 that her and the production designer and the producer had come up with this concept that they were going to have people not wearing costumes but wearing clothing, and that they were going to be using local materials that are in the region that they live in, and that was going to inform the types of clothes that people are wearing. So when you see all of the, like for instance, we were just talking about when you see all of the people in the group scenes in Winterfell wearing these natural homespun type clothes, but then you see the Lady of Winterfell wearing a black leather corset or a black leather bodice, it just, for me, it kind of just pulls me out of that world. So this is totally my own opinion. I don't expect everyone else to agree with it, but for me, I'm just I'm trying to follow along with what the actual design, how it started, and follow their rules of how things are working. So Cersei, I can kind of see, because she's at a board, or what do you call it? She's in a port, and they have access to all types of materials, whereas in the North they have to use what they have. So Sansa would have had to have had this made, likely not from like a local what do you call it, like a tailor or a armorer type person. It looks like something would have come from another area as opposed to Winterfell. That's just what I think.
I thought she made it herself. Like,
well, I mean, we don't have any. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. She's not. She didn't have any experience in this type of thing. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, they do have leather up north. In season 7, when she's like inspecting the armor, she says, cover the insides with leather, because otherwise they're going to freeze and just gonna be completely useless. So maybe she took strips of the leather they had available and fashioned herself an armor. Of course, I'm not saying that's what happened. Maybe it is. Maybe, yeah. And to a certain extent, yeah, I can see where you're going. I can see the pitfalls of like the outlandish costuming and like the leather bodice, which again I love, adore. I wish I could rip it off her body, but I can see like this, her being the Lady of Winterfell, her being a second strategist, and practically a commander by proxy. Because if something happens to John, she's the one that has to command the army.
Oh no, I don't doubt that at all. I don't disagree with you at all about that. I don't disagree with her.
Yeah. What I was getting at is like, yeah, it doesn't seem practical that she has such a weak armor. I mean, again, it's stylish. It would have been better if the strips of leather were reinforced with metal. Like, you can keep the shape, just reinforce it with metal. Like armor plates like Jaime has, or the Starks have, but like instead of that way, like fashion and bend the metal to like fit into the leather.
Yeah, I think like as a bodice, it's fine. I just don't think I think we've agreed that it wouldn't probably be very successful as armor. Oh, goddess, I was going to say, I saw your comment. She's saying this is an ancient Roman influence look at Lorica segmentata, which I'm like, for instance, in my next video, I'm doing Jaime Lannister. If you look at their armor, it's like plate armor, but it actually looks like sort of like the Roman armor, but more so there's this particular style of Japanese armor. It's a little bit later where the plates became longer. Like originally they'd be these small plates, they would all be lashed together and like kind of like scale armor, and then later they became these longer strips, and it almost became like a tub type shape, which is sort of what Lorica segmentata is. So that's, but so this is sort of, obviously this is a bit of more of an abstract, and I do like that. So I think, as you mentioned, Tatiana, if it was backed with metal, or it could have even been on a metal base, you know what I mean? Like a metal breastplate, and then have the leather kind of be like more decorative type thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I think
like be more decorative.
Yeah,
they could like made the leather strips the base, and then like coated it with the hammered in the metal, so it looks, and also it because it would have been like a pop of color in a sense, because it would have been like the silver against the black.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because some people hate that neck thing she's wearing, and other people love it. Michelle came out this week referring to the circle being a representation of the feminine element in a woman. And I've talked about this actually in the past, that, for instance, Dany has a lot of circle cutouts in her costume. So that's supposed to be, mean sort of the feminine element. And her, even though she's strong, she's still like feminine. And obviously she is, right? She's got that beautiful silhouette, which I've always loved. And then she's got the needle attached to the bottom. But one of the things I had joked about was that if she was for some reason attacked, it wouldn't exactly be a safe thing to have, because it's just immediately like something, either you would take the needle, you could stab her with it, or you could take the neck charm and use it like, to choke her. So that's my only thing. I was thinking, that might not be the best thing to have in a situation where you're under attack. Oh, Cindy says, Heidi, didn't you talk about that in a video in Westworld? Was it are you talking about the armor? I did, Cindy. You have such a good memory. I did talk about that armor, and I'm going to be talking more about it. I actually have a bit of a love for armor, so I always love talking about it.
Also, Secret asked, they didn't even establish where Sansa will be during the battle. She's probably going to be in the crypts. Like, they have been establishing the crypts for a long ass time, like through the entire episode. They've been go to the crypts, the crypts is the safest place.
Did they say that Sansa would be there though? Did they say she would be in the crypts?
Well, they didn't say that she's going to be there, and there's a promo where she's in the battlements. But I think that's just the beginning of the episode where she looks at the because like people say she is so focused on the politics because she hasn't seen the dead. Once she sees the dead, it's like, oh, schnitzel. I am going down to the
Sorry, what was that word you used?
Oh, schnitzel.
I just watched The Sound of Music yesterday, so that's perfect. Because it was Easter. We watched it with my kids. They'd never seen it before. Because my son's always singing, he's always singing Raindrops on Roses. He's always singing that song. It's so cute.
Whoa.
Vanessa, you don't think she'll be there? Where do you think she's going to be? Yeah, Asen, I don't know what the plan's going to... Asen, I think the good thing about this battle, though, is they seem to kind of know that it's probably not going to go well. So it's almost better to plan for failure than it is to plan for success, for Schnitzel, Hostel says. What should we look at next? Okay, so let's just agree that we love Sansa's outfit. I may not be as happy with the black, but that's just me. And that as armor, it may not be...
The underdress, the underdress is simple, but I like the subtle detail that they have.
It had a really nice texture. It had a very beautiful kind of like a really nice texture. Michelle's always really great for that. She has fabulous fabrics.
It gave me like a bit of a tree bark-ish, like a subtle tree bark.
Yes, Lady Laura Dane. Yes, so Sansa is an accomplished seamstress embroiderer, and that's been established since the very beginning, and that she has made her own dresses, except for her wedding dress to Tyrion. She was commissioned for her by Cersei, apparently. But I just was saying, I don't know if she would actually, but she could go to the armorers and say, here, this is what I want. And, do a drawing kind of like how Arya gave Gendry the plans for her weapon, right? So she could go and say, hey, could you make me this, please? And they probably would say, sure. But I don't think she would have actually have made this herself, because I don't think she knows how to do leather work, which is a totally different area. So like someone who does dressmaking doesn't necessarily know how to do. That's why cosplayers are kind of cool people, because they kind of do everything. And that's sort of an interesting thing. Yeah. I am Dale Jones says, I don't think Sansa will be in the crypts. We see her on the battlements, and I think so much more foreshadowing than everyone in the crypts are going to die. It's interesting, by the way. What did you think of that final shot of? I loved it. It was one of my favorites in the show when they had Tyrion on the battlements looking out. Wasn't that an amazing shot? So is he going to stay there until it's getting dangerous, and then he'll run into the crypts? What's going to go on?
Earlier in the show, they said in the war room, he wanted to be there with Davos giving the signal, and they say, and then he said, no, go to the crypts. We need you. We need your brain. We need your intelligence. You're not going to work for anybody if you die.
We need your mind. Yeah. I still didn't like how she talked to him. I know that, everyone's like, okay, well, she had reason to, but I still didn't like it. I didn't like it. Yeah, he's Tyrion.
We all love Tyrion.
I love my Tyrion. horny goats. Horny goats. Yes, yes. So I know there is so Sansa made her first like that it's sort of a blue purple dress. She made that one. And then she made the one that she wears to the I can't remember anything today. I'm having problems. I need to take some ginkgo. The one they went to the battle of the tourney of the hand. She made that dress as well. But the very first outfit she's in, I don't know. I don't have any knowledge if she's made that or not, or her mother had it made for her. But she does all her own embroidery. So when I see embroidery on something that she's wearing, I always think, even though Michelle Carragher did the embroidery, I always think the headcanon is that Sansa actually did her own embroidery. We see her embroidering in the very first scene with her, right? She's got the hoop and then poor Arya is trying to do the embroidery and she's terrible at it. And the Septa's, oh, Sansa, such beautiful stitches, so that was sort of established very early on. Okay, so who should we talk about next?
Oh, we already have
Gendry. Well, Gendry, okay.
Now Gendry and Arya.
Yeah, okay, all right.
I have to first say this. It's been a long time coming. Just give me 1 second. Gendry is canon! Gendry is canon!
You look kind of like a Muppet when you do that. Do that again. you look like one of the Muppets from
well, I like to picture myself
your hands back and forth. Dog. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Speaking of that, did you see the Sesame Street version of Cersei and Tyrion? Like
the respect.
Wasn't that so cute?
That was both cute and disturbing in so many ways because it's just like Game of Thrones,
yes,
and Sesame Street are like two words that should not go together, like ever.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Ever. And yet they found a way to make it. How?
Absolutely, yeah.
So fucking weird. I saw like one of the little skits they did about the Game of Thrones, like, and the Game of Thrones, the Thrones was literally like musical chairs to see who got the throne.
Oh, I saw that too. Yes.
I was so disturbed because they have they did so many jokes referencing the show, like "Don't lose your head."
I know, it's very adult, right? I know it's a very adult. Right now? But it's funny. I was thinking it seemed weird, but they used to do Law and Order on Sesame Street, and that's an adult show too, right? It's a procedural, so I don't know. It must be for the parents. When Sansa was in King's Landing, she wore her hair like the ladies there. When her aunt Liza died, she completely changed. And then again, when she suffered under Ramsay, now she is in charge. Yes. Well, yeah, that's exactly what's going on there. What about Gendry's pants?
Secrets of the Citadel. I was waiting for them to assassinate Elmo. That would have gone dark. That would have gone so freaking dark. It's like, oh my god, my childhood is ruined. And
Elmo always talks about himself in the third person. He always. Okay, so what about Gendry? What do you think about? Now, I always think it's funny. Michelle, she came up with this design for the shirts. Like, if you look at some of the behind the scenes in this particular episode, you'll notice that the shirts have like a second gather. So they're gathered at the neck and then they're gathered around. It's like a double gather. Have you ever noticed that, Tatiana? The shirts?
Yeah.
So they gather.
Like on the shoulders.
It's almost like a dickie attached to a shirt. So it's almost like Michelle wants to have the gathers underneath the.
Yeah, he looks like a sexy frog. Like a very sexy frog.
He looks like a sexy frog?
Yeah, because of the thing on the neck.
Oh, the thing in the neck, yes. Well, and that's a very northern look that that he's wearing there.
Yeah,
actually, if you look at it, it's very much like what Arya wore for like 4 years running. And Catelyn. Okay, so you loved. Okay, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this. You loved the love scene between Gendry and Arya.
I mean, I get it. I get it. I get why people might not be very receptive to it. We have seen Arya grow up. We still think of that little girl running
Yeah.
up into the wheel thingy, looking at the King Robert passing by on his way to Winterfell. I
Oh,
get
she was
it.
so cute.
We get it, but people, she is grown up. So for me, this
See if I can find a
the
picture. I have a
sex
picture of
scene
kissing.
between her and Gendry was like the final step for them to realize, hey people, hi, she's not a little girl anymore. She is a grown ass woman who can make her own damn decisions. And if she wants to bang a hot ass blacksmith, she is gonna bang a hot ass blacksmith. And people, before you say anything, she is not 14, she is 18. The character is 18 and the actress is 21. Everything is above the line. We are good, we are legal. Okay, I
Okay.
get it. It is uncomfortable because we see Macy Williams and we see that little girl. She is like it's like seeing my 14-year-old sister being sexually
Yeah.
active. I would scream. I would have a tantrum. I would have feelings. But if my baby sister is 18 and she's having consensual sex safely, I would not be happy with it. But she is a grown ass woman who can make her own decisions. She wants to make her
Yeah.
own mistakes. There we
Yeah,
go.
I guess you know what it is. I think for me, like I even Jack and I, we were watching. There's a show we were watching called was it the Coven? It was a show. It was a show about witches. It was actually pretty fun. But you know, I'm at the age now when I watch teenagers making out, it's just kind of creepy. Like it just really is. I'm like, I shouldn't be watching this. This is just weird because I have a 13-year-old son, right? So that's just it gets to that point. And you say you have a 13-year-old sister. So for me, I didn't like it. I kind of it was, and it wasn't even much the love scene. I just didn't really want to see Maisie Williams naked. I don't, and I don't even know if that was her, if that was a body
Well,
double, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure it was a body double because if it wasn't a body double and it was her, we probably would have gotten a full frontal. We didn't. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure it was a
I'm
body double.
definitely glad they didn't do that. I would have been probably disturbed. I would have needed a couple of shots of vodka if they'd done that. I mean, yeah, parents don't like watching their children laugh out loud, says Majora. Thank you, Majora. Exactly. So I'm a middle-aged woman. I have a 13-year-old son. I remember her as this cute little girl. So for me, it just felt a bit creepy. And I get that she's got her own agency and that she was the one directing the love scene and he was, you know, I totally get that. I just, for me, I don't think I needed it. I don't think I needed it. I would have rather seen a love scene with Tormund or something. I would have
I would
loved to
have,
see
I would have,
that.
I would have preferred I would have also preferred a love scene between Brienne and Jamie, but I'm okay with what we got.
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
I
Heinz,
did
I'm
go
pretty
too
sure it was body
far.
double. Yeah. I doubt. Oh, okay. We're having some disagreements. So hindsight thinks it was a body double, and Ace soon thinks it wasn't a body double. And then I am Dow Jones says, I enjoyed seeing a young woman able to decide what to do with her body in this world when most women don't get the opportunity. Sansa, Cersei, Dany, Caitlin, none of them got that agency. I think what my big problem is, and I said this last week, is that, you know, the story, the whole episode was written by a man, then it was directed by a man, and the show's produced by a man. And I like, I
Yeah,
couldn't imagine myself like, and also the fact that like, has Arya ever even like been touched by a man before, like ever? Like, how would she even know how to do any of it? Anyways, this is what I'm wondering. She's never had a
that's why
conversation with her big sister, like, you know, where do you put what? You know, I don't know. For me, it seemed fine. Like if she had
that
been like, go ahead.
that's why I was okay. That's why I liked it because it wasn't like all romantic and passionate. And it was awkward.
It was
It
awkward,
was
yeah.
young. It was awkward. It was supposed to be awkward. These are teenagers. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
he's in his 20s, but he might as well be a freaking teenager at this point.
Yeah.
But it was supposed to be awkward. It was her first time. Of course, she didn't know what she was doing, but she didn't let that stop her. She did the best she could with what she had, and she had a lot.
So Pastel, she's 33, and she said for her it was cringe. So okay, so we're gonna have some you know, opposition on this. Some people are gonna like it, some people aren't gonna like it. That's cool. Herman says, why don't the men writers ask a woman what she thinks is do you mean hot? We actually talked about that last week. I well, I was using this as an example last week. Here, let's show that. That on Outlander, they have women usually directing the episodes, and even though actually it's a male producer. So I always find like all of my female friends who watch Outlander are like, oh my God, that was so hot. That's super hot. Whereas I've never really watched a Game of Thrones sex scene or love scene that I'm like, wow, that is sexy. I've never had that really happen. I mean, some of it is weird, obviously, because you've got like sister and brother kind of doing it. You know what I mean? I've never watched a Game of Thrones love scene where I'm like, oh my God, that's actually really sexy. The only scene I think that maybe I really thought was great was the one with Gilly and Sam. I thought that was a really great scene. I love that scene.
Yeah.
With the two. And then some people say they didn't like that scene. The hottest scene was Jaime knighting Brienne. Totally. I got some like shivers from that. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Yeah, I was like, kiss. Oh my God, kiss. I don't care if Tormund is there, just kiss. I mean Tormund will probably slash his face open, but still kiss. Because you know when he knighted her,
yeah,
he just wanted to grab his face and kiss the living schnitzel out of him.
Yeah. You know who else I thought, and this was someone brought this up in the chat or on Twitter. I kind of got a really great vibe between Theon and Sansa.
Oh, yeah, I was like, when they're Podrick's song and they eating together, and she like looks at him and it's like, girl, wait, what? Wait,
awesome.
This is like brother and sister shit, right?
I know, but it felt like
at one part, if it was like her taking her own agency and control her own damn love life, then I was like, yes, bitch. But on the other hand, was like, Sansa just needs to be herself. She needs to.
This is her eating with him. So it's funny because some people thought that was a crochet hook.
Me too. I was like, what is that? Like, yeah.
It's just a weird spoon, eh? It's just sort of a weird. How do you about the man versus?
Is that a bread bowl? It looks like a bread.
It looks like maybe you can eat it after. That would make sense. They would take because they did have loaves of bread, and then you would hull it out, and then you put the soup in it, and then you would eat it, and then you could eat the bread bowl after. No, I think it's some type of weird wood, but that would make sense, Tatiana. You should have directed that scene. No sexy in the Theon hug, but over the soup was a bit what? Baby brother and sister. Yeah, that's sort of, I don't know. I got like a love, but it could have been a brotherly, sisterly love. But it felt sort of romantic to me.
Oh, sorry. It's like Peglet Pete says, "Be happy. Arya was with Gendry. She was hunting the hound for the deed, and Barry showed up." Ew. Okay, no, I am not okay with that. That is no. No. Peglet Pete, no. Bad Peglet. Bad.
Oh, what's she saying? I didn't like that she had nearly been raped and then was like, I am so horny for Sam. Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I think there was some discussion about that as well, because I think this was like, she'd really never known the love of a man. Like, I don't know. It's so hard. I thought it was sort of I thought the scene was done pretty well. Jose says, Heidi, about the man versus woman directing thing. I'm on season 2 of Outlander, and the difference in the love scenes is evident. The closest Thrones has come besides Sam Gilly is maybe John and Ygritte. Oh yeah, sorry. John and Ygritte. That was good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. Cool. I actually loved and also the scene between Brienne and Jaime in the bathtub.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
An unspoken kind of, but they were both so filthy though.
Yeah, it's like she. And besides, it wasn't. But to me, that scene, the bathtub with Jaime and Brienne, that wasn't sexual to me. That was intimacy.
No.
That was
Intimacy. This is what I think I'm probably what I'm going for. So this is what it is. So we've got like this scene with Sansa and Theon feels like intimacy. The scene with Brienne and Jaime was like intimacy, and the scene for me with Sam and Gilly was like intimacy. So that maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the fact that there is an intimacy.
It was like, it looked like, of course, my shipper brain is rotten to the core and just sees ships everywhere. But like my more logical part of my brain, it was like, maybe she's like, I have another brother. Like, I'm happy that you're. It was like looking at him, it's like, I have another brother and he's back. It was like,
yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, Blue Dragon. Hi, Blue Dragon. If anyone's new here, has it just arrived, by the way. Hello, Catherine Majora. Angel all over's here. Angel over. I always call you Angel all over. It's Angel over. Blue Dragon. Angel all over. So all right. So guys, if you're just dropping in, we're talking. We've talked about Sansa.
Living Rhapsody is also here. Hello, Living.
Hi, Living Rhapsody. Hello. We have such a nice crew here tonight.
Yeah.
So so what's great is that Tatiana and I, we don't always agree, but we are usually, I think we're pretty understanding of each other's perspectives, right? And you've brought me over to you. You've brought me over to you on some things. And the other thing,
if not, it's totally. I totally did not use voodoo.
She didn't. She used her reasoning. She used her reasoning.
I totally do not have a voodoo doll right in front of me behind the camera.
No, she uses her reasoning. She uses her evidence and her passion, and you use all those things. I have actually, it's interesting because since I started doing this channel, I have oftentimes changed my perspective on certain things. So I can be moved. I'm an Aries though, so I am stubborn, but I can be.
I go with the flow.
Yeah, I can be moved. So anyway, this is why I think when the season's done, I'll probably look back on it a little bit differently, because I can kind of look at it as a package as opposed to these little sections taken out of context. So it's sort of like, you can't really review a movie when you've only seen part of the movie. You have to sort of see the whole thing. Thanks so much, Living My Rhapsody. Thank you so much for coming by. So Living My Rhapsody and I did a really fun we did like a live stream last week with Marie, and it was so fun. And that was my first time meeting her, and we just hit it off really, really well. So I'm really glad you popped by. Anyway, she's got a YouTube channel. Everyone should check it out. Go over to her channel and check it out. Oh yeah, she says I love her stream.
Also, if we think on it from a sexual sense, if Sansa gets feelings for Theon, it's all good because he ain't got no penis.
Yeah, but neither does Grey Worm, right? Or no, he has a penis but no testicles.
Well, hey, he gets creative. Right? I mean, this Sansa.
Well, apparently, like I've heard, like you can still do. I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly how it works. I might need a doctor's. 30 days you arrived just in time. We're talking about penises. Okay, this show always goes south very easily.
Yeah.
And so if there's anybody here that's underage, please leave, because it might be too adult for you. But also, you shouldn't be watching Game of Thrones anyway. It was funny when I remember years ago, my niece, like she was like still in like, I don't know, middle school. And she's like, I'm going over to my friends and we're watching True Blood. And I'm like, oh yeah, what's that show? And so then I finally ended up watching it, and I had to call up
oh my God.
I had to call up my sister-in-law and say, your daughter and her friend are watching True Blood. Like they're like 13 or something. I'm like, that is like porn. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love True Blood. I love me some Eric. He's like just super hot. Prostate stimulation is a thing. I'm sure it is. Hey, I can't say your name, but it's Bartimaeus of York. How do you say your name? Bartimaeus of York.
Also,
there's ways around it.
Also, if the best comes to pass and Grey Worm does survive and he becomes friends with Theon, he can teach him a couple things.
Yeah, we
You never
should just change this podcast to Sex of Thrones. Forget the costume. Oh, speaking of that, I have had some people asking, and now did we talk about this last week about if we're going to do a video on John lying naked on the table? Like we should do a video on unclothed. What were we going to call it? We were going to do a video about the best unclothed people on Game of Thrones.
Oh,
I've had
yeah,
people asking me. So scantily clad. Yeah. So I said that could be a video, right? We could do a video on that, Tatiana.
Yeah.
Well, they never elaborated when they castrated the Unsullied if they took both the pillar and stones. Yeah. So, for instance, castrati, which are like those singers, apparently they used to be very popular lovers.
Yeah.
Because yeah, Grey Worm's 100% toast.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I studied this because like one of Handel's, the English
Handel's Messiah.
Huh? What?
Sorry, Handel, the composer Handel?
Yeah, the composer Handel. He did. I actually sang one of his arias from the opera Giulio Cesare for a concert, and I, as part of research, I saw at least part of the opera, and the main character Giulio Cesare, Julius Caesar, great big man, conqueror for Rome and all that, he was played by a castrato. So you can imagine my reaction when I see, like, it's supposed to be like this grand, strong, powerful man get out of the carriage, open his mouth and go, and you're like, what is...
Wow. Tatiana, I'm going to do like a soundbite of you doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna just edit that out, and I'm gonna have that. Like, that's gonna be awesome. Oh my God, you're hilarious. So, okay, so what have we covered so far? We've done Sansa, we've done Jorah, we've done
Gendry. Let's go for the Magnificent Six. The Fireside Six.
The fire. Okay, I'll see if I can find. Okay, I'll see if I can find some pictures of that. Hold on, let me go. Okay, you talk.
Lady Laura asked, you didn't think Grey Worm and Miss Sunday scene was sexy?
No, sorry, was that? No, I did not. I did not think it was sexy at all. Did you, Tatiana?
I thought it was okay. It's like,
I kept thinking
Game of Thrones sex scenes, it has to be on like a spectrum, from tasteful to crude.
Oh, majority. She's 100% in favor of our tiaras. Yeah, my crown is kind of lopsided, which kind of suits my personality.
Yeah, girl, yes, we are the queen.
I'm a lopsided queen, and I'm not even drinking. This is terrible. It's a bit early for me still. Okay, so let me find the fireside chat.
Also, thank you, Vanessa. I know I'm extra. I'm an actress. That's what I do.
Here's one picture. Can you see that? That's two of the fires. This is the beginning of the fireside.
Yeah.
What do we think of the fireside?
I just love that this scene opens with a shout out to Tywin. It's like, I wish father were here.
Yeah. And they fail to mention that. Oh yeah, but you're the one who killed him on the toilet. Oh yeah.
You're like, wait, what? It's like, yeah, so he can see that we're gonna die defending the people he was trying to kill. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we talked a bit about Jaime here, but yeah. So what do you think of Tyrion's costume? What do you think of it?
I like it more with like the chevron pattern that he was wearing in Jaime's trial, but I also like it. I'm liking the breastplate. I mean, at least it's more practical than what Sansa's wearing, as fabulous as that is.
Yeah. And and he's worn armor before, so this one, it looks like a very simple armor, but he would have had to have brought it with him because he would have a special armor make his armor to his size, right?
Yeah. Yeah, basically.
Now it's funny. I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I also like that he's wearing his the jerkin and the coat, I guess you could say. I
call it a surcoat. It's kind of like a poncho almost, right? That they wear in.
No,
Oh,
behind the breastplate. He's wearing the jerkin. I noticed because
oh,
of the
the
neck.
jerkin. Yeah, yeah.
The jerkin is from season 7.
Yes,
Season 7, episode 7.
it was on our
In the
top. Wasn't that in our top 20 or our an honorable mention? Maybe
No, the Dragonstone one, the Chevron one was the top. Was the
the
top.
Chevron one. I can't see this.
For
This is too
honorable
dark
mention.
for me. You're gonna have
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
describe it.
I think I gave you some close up, honey. You can see it. And I think on the exterior shots on the there.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
let
see,
me find it.
oh.
Okay, let me see if I
Oh,
can find.
you're Puerto Rican, Jose. I didn't know that. Boricua, yes, queen.
What is it?
No, Jose Mercado. He's Puerto Rican. I didn't know
Oh,
that.
cool. Here's a close up of him here.
Yeah. See if you can like see closely, if you can like zoom in, you might see a little bit of the punctured neck.
Oh yeah, I can zoom in. I forgot I can do that. Hold on, let me do that. I forgot
Wow.
I was able to do that.
See if you can like see it like a little bit. You can see like the texture.
Yeah, it's sort of like again, it's like a herringbone, or is it's interesting because I in my one of my videos we were talking about the chevron and then the zigzag and the significance of that. The Night King has the chevron, and then he had the chevron, and then I don't know, Asen, if it was you who posted Danny's latest outfit in our group. It might have been Romy who did, but she's got these chevrons going down her back. Did you guys notice that? So like the
Yeah.
yeah.
I took various photos actually.
What's that?
I sent you a photo of the chevron pattern on her back when
Did you?
she stepped up. I did.
Is it this outfit here?
No, it's when she's, oh my god, what was I gonna do? Oh, when she stands up after the trial and she gets like that awkward.
Oh, when she goes to leave.
Yeah.
And it's all weird and awkward. I don't see it. Anyway, so if anybody, if I find it, we'll find it. But yeah, so she has this. This is her leaving. That's her leaving, right? So she has. If you look at her, she's standing from behind. She's got this like chevron pattern going down the back, and it is like kind of like it's the opposite of the Night King, right? So the Night King's is like the point is at the top, and hers is the point is like the shovel as opposed to the roof, I think. So I'm going to have to look at that a bit more because that has been, it's interesting. Michelle Clapton recently said that there's symbolism all over everybody. There's symbolism on everybody. Like it's just, so it'll be interesting to see. So I had talked about that depending on if I can't remember now, but depending on which way the chevron goes, it either means you're a negotiator or you're a warrior. And I'd always said that she's like a warrior as opposed to the negotiator like Tyrion is. So, and then like they're sort of playing her up more like that. Sorry.
Oh, living on a prayer. Hi and bye, I guess. Living on a prayer.
Oh, thanks so much. It was really nice to see you. I love that song, by the way. Do you know that song, Tatiana? Yeah, can you sing it for me? Can you sing it for me?
Oh, we're halfway there.
Yeah, Living in Rhapsody. I think thanks, Tatiana. I just love you. I think it looks like the fabric is woven, like you say, kind of like leather strips, and then it's folded into these pleats. So I'm not sure. I haven't been able to find it. I found something kind of similar in like a leatherette type of thing, but I haven't found that. So I'm not sure where the fabric comes from, but it's very cool. So let's go back to the okay, now I'm seeing if I can find any more of the fireside chat pictures.
Come on, we need the final countdown. Oh, come on.
We don't have Aaron here, so yeah, guys, sorry, Aaron's away. We're hoping we'll be getting him back eventually.
Hopefully by next week.
We're getting him back like we lent him out.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, here is the knighting scene.
Oh, girl.
Y'all.
She's so happy and like, oh, it's like, oh my God, kiss.
Oh, living on her prayer. Our group is called Game of Thrones costume analysis. Is that what it's called?
I think so. Yeah.
Asen, hopefully you know. Asen's also a admin. I made Romy an admin too, so we have like 6 admins.
Yeah, queen.
Yeah. So
I know it, so it's not fair. I wanted a kiss. I mean, I know Torma was there, and there would be like a pre-battle, and then everything would just get very complicated. But I wanted a kiss, bitch. And I love that scene beforehand when she's in the training grounds, and she's like looking at Padre teach the other soldiers how to fight like a proud mama. It's like,
yep.
That's your baby son.
Hi, Larissa. Larissa's here. Hi, Larissa. Larissa, what time is it for you?
Hi, Catherine.
Larissa, what time is it for you in Australia? She said, no, I didn't want to kiss. It was perfect like it was. It was kind of like,
I know.
It was kind of like kissing. It was kind of like a love making. Like
it was like it was eye sex basically. It was eye sex.
Yeah.
Eye sex, like it was not even it was like visual making love.
It
like
was
making love visually.
Yeah. So he was sort of he was responsible for, he made her sword. He had her, he was sort of, she vouched for him.
They made each other better.
They did. They make each other better.
But he just that switch.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, Vanessa's really correct. Like, obviously, she did lie and said, "Oh, I don't want to be a knight." Probably because if you can't be something, you're going to be like, "Well, I'm not going to." I don't want to be something I can't be, right? So, but she did want to be it. She did want to be it.
I love that. I love that scene when Vanessa says that she lied, and Paro was like, "What?" And I love his face, like, "Bitch, please, don't even. I know you, girl. You want to be a knight. Don't even." Like,
yeah. Now, Tatiana, before we go any further, what, pray tell, is that hanging on your door there, on your screen, your divider screen?
Oh, this is my fabulous dramatic dressing gown that has roses on it. See?
I love it. I love the boa feathers.
I actually glued it together because I had a concert and I had to do an aria from an modern opera called The Telephone. And it's about this girl that she's just gossiping on the phone, and it's like, it's not easy. Believe me, that song is not easy at all. The highs were very fucking high.
Larissa says, Heidi, I believe the other thing with chevrons is that if the point is upward, it's male, and if the point is downward, it's female. Yeah, I think I was saying that it was like, some people said that a downward chevron is supposed to be like a vagina. Yeah, and I just thought I'd say vagina because since we are now, what are we calling the show now? Queen of Sex of Thrones. Yeah, we're naming it the Sex of Thrones, Larissa. So you've come just in time. Asen says, I saw an interview with Nikolai, and he told there is some sexual tension between them, but they both never would do. They prefer the mutual respect to each other to stay the way it is. Aw. Oh, Majora says, not with the vaginas again. Oh, sorry. I told you earlier. I warned you.
We're shipping.
I'm not even making that up about the chevron. I read it online, so it must be true. So yeah, so the point. So the Night King has the upward, like chevron. No, he has the which way is his chevron? I forgot.
Oh, well, he's the penis.
He's the penis, and then she's the vagina. so the tinfoil hat people would be like, you know what that means? That means that the Night King and Dany are going to do it. She's going to become the Night Queen. That's what the tinfoil hat people would say.
No. Well, probably
no. Oh my God, you guys are cracking me up. Okay, so we love this scene. There were so many great scenes though, right?
This is my favorite.
To me. This was just my favorite too. Yeah, see, Tatiana and I agree on something here.
And the beautiful thing is, because George R. R. Martin, he confirmed that Brienne was related to Sir Duncan the Tall from the Duncaness series.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he did, and his story parallels hers. I mean, he was like this paragon of goodness. He was this humble man, a great knight, a great man, very tall, but he was never actually knighted. He was he went so far as to be Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, but he was never officially knighted. So for his great granddaughter, maybe, to finally achieve what he could not, it's like so layers, man. It's an onion. This is an onion right now. We're going right now.
Oh, Asen, sorry, Tatiana. Asen, can you do me a favor? Would you be able to put a link of our group in the chat? Because I've got like 4 windows open. I think if I try and find another thing, I'll probably end up scrimp the whole live stream. If you can't, that's no worries. Otherwise, living on a prayer, I will put it in the description below. Onions, I'm crying. Oh, speaking of that, speaking of onions. Speaking of onions, I got to ask you this, Tatiana, and this is something that came up in our group. Wait, where's the picture of? See what I mean? I'm dealing with like how many screens do I have open here? You know, we were talking about Sir Davos with the thing on his arm. That was Asun brought that up.
Oh yeah, that was like a lion. It looked like a lion.
Do I have a picture of it? There was okay. So if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about, so Davos Seaworth, he has this cloak, and when he's handing out the soup, you know, to the little girl and everybody, but do I have a picture of it? It looks like he has a lion on the cloak, and we couldn't figure out why. Yeah, so Asen says yes, lion. So the only thing that Asen came up with is perhaps it was borrowed, but then why? Now, I don't know. I can't find a picture of it. So you guys will just have to go look for it. Anyway, so if you watch the scene where he is handing out the soup. Oh, here it is. I got it. Yes. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
Yeah,
put it on there.
Like
yeah, so there it is. If you look on his shoulder, so what do you guys think that is? And what's everyone make of that? Yes, Majora, there it is. This is Asun who found this out. Yes, the lion. So we think it looks like a Lannister lion, like a rampant lion. Someone said it could be a rampant onion. That's why I was like, speaking of onions. Oh, here, I'll zoom. Yeah, sure. I can do this. Oops, nope, that's not it. How do we do this? Here, zoom in. There. Is that any better?
Yeah, I can.
It looks like a chandelier accidentally dripped on it. Really? Chandelier? Yeah, so I don't know what you guys think of that. Could it be a mistake? It looked totally like a Lannister lion. Yeah. Looks like a dragon spitting fire. Okay, so why would that be though? Because he's on Dany's team?
No.
What is a dragon spitting fire? Oh, you mean an actual dragon spitting fire?
I thought it was more like a wolf.
I thought it looked like I thought it looked like the lion's tongue, like the rampant lion. Because if you look at all of the lions, all the sigils, it looks like the lion has a tongue that sticks out. Northern girl who wanted to fight and resemble Shireen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was such a cutie. Okay, Vanessa says it looks like a lion. So, no, the dragon face is slimmer and longer, says Asun. So, yeah, so we're trying to figure it out. A dragon wolf.
I still think I want to believe that it's definitely a wolf. It's like a rampant wolf, like a battle wolf. It's not like just like the Stark sigil. It's like a rampant.
So we'll have to do some
like sometimes like some houses they have like normal serious looking animal sigils like the Starks or but sometimes in like I think times of battle they change the sigil to like the rampant wolf.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was watching a behind the scenes the other day about the sigils and the guy who designed them. So they did look at actual historical sigils and then created them, like George described them in the book quite well, apparently. And then he looked at historical examples. So the rampant lion is an actual thing. They designed the dire wolf, but the rampant lion looks like a rampant lion. So most people think it looks like a lion. So that would be a really great question to ask Michelle Clapton if it ever comes up.
Yeah.
It's, you know what I mean? Maybe someone just put a, and one of the things Michelle talks about is a lot of times she can't be in all scenes and everywhere. So it's possible that they were like, okay, he needs a cloak, and someone just grabbed it, kind of like we were saying with Jamie's cloak. And here's a good cloak. It's fur lined or whatever. Yeah, Catherine says it's faded. I'm sure he just found it or picked it up somewhere. That is very on character of how Davos would make his own way and get his clothes. So maybe in Winterfell he picked it up, or not Winterfell, but in King's Landing. Yeah, Vanessa says she loves the music. What did you? Oh, you know what's interesting, by the way? What did you think of the singing, Tatiana?
Yes, I loved it, and that song has so many connotations in the book. That song that was basically like a super huge shout out to the book, because in the show it's like it serves both in the book and the show, because in the show the song is about the Jenny of Oldstones, who I think a Targaryen king left the throne, abdicated from the throne to be with her, which John and Dany maybe, which is also interesting because after he sings, the scene cuts to John and Dany, and we will get to that.
Yes. You know, I found out actually. So I found out the actor who plays Podrick, he is the son of the guy who plays who is the Roderick Cassel or Castle. So in real life, that's his father. Roderick was killed back, I think, in maybe season 2 or so. He's the one who has the beard that he puts into a little tiny ponytail. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I thought it was really great. I didn't know the history behind it, but yeah. So it sounds like it was sort of like a book, sort of love letter type thing. Didn't I catch somewhere that Jenny's song is about an unlucky love?
Yeah.
I think most of those songs seem to be.
also, and this is the interesting part, because in the book, the song, Jenny's song, is actually tied to Rhaegar Targaryen, because I think he was the one that wrote it. I think, again, I haven't read the books. I just see an excruciating amount of videos on YouTube because I have no life. And this says that the prophecy of Azor Ahai is hidden within the song.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that's interesting.
Again, onions, layers, so much depth.
Yeah. Now, here's a really great shot. I love this this picture. I'm sort of moving ahead here, guys. So to sort of the war room type of thing. One of the things I noticed, did you notice when they did the scene that Alice Karstark is in it? Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, her outfit. I'd like to get a really good look at her outfit because it looks beautiful. It looks really beautiful. And we don't know a lot about the female Karstark clothing. So I'd like to sort of get a better visual at that. And also it was sort of sad, obviously, because Ned wasn't there, right? You know, her sort of junior equivalent.
Oh, Pretty Dark has to go. Bye, Pretty Dark. Bye.
Yeah. So there's another picture of Sansa there. Yeah. So there she is there, guys, in the middle. Between
Brienne
and Theon, yeah. So but I recognized her from last season. Oh, bye, Pretty Dark. Sansa's best costume is in the table pick.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so I'd like to get a better so maybe when I rewatch the show, I'll see if I can grab a better picture. Sansa standing there like that. It resembles Arya. Oh, yeah? That's interesting. Yeah. Okay, so that was a nice pick I got there. I think everyone who is in the crypts are in real danger. Yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah. Also,
they're kind of like sitting ducks then, right?
Yeah, basically. Because they keep saying, oh, the crypts are the safest place, the crypts are the safest place. That means it's not going to be the safest place, it's going to be the first place hit.
Oh, yeah, Majora, yeah. So I see what you're saying. As she puts her hands behind her back, I think that is very Arya-like, that sort of posture. So actually, here's a picture. I found of. Here's a nice picture of Brienne after she's been knighted, or as she's being knighted. I've never done a video of her. I really want to do a video on Brienne. Like her armor is really, really great. This is the armor.
She has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 costumes in total.
Yeah. She wears that one to the wedding, which I always thought was kind of weird. You know, that blue one. You know, she shows up and when she first meets Olenna, and Olena's like, "Oh my, look at you." Or something. What does Olenna say to her? It's kind of, "Where's my big woman?" Is she, what was that line that Tormund said? Oh my god, that was so funny. Is the big lady here?
Oh yeah, it's big lady here. Oh, I love the scene. I love the scene when Ed and Tormund return to Winterfell. That was a great scene. That was, I laughed so hard. That you see like oh my god, like John sees his buddy Ed after so long. He thought he was dead. He's running towards him. The music swells and just is about to go hug him. Bam!
Yeah.
Tormund just comes and just blindsides him. I swear I thought he was going to tackle him straight to the ground. Oh my god.
Here's another picture of the war room. Now, here's a good picture of John. So what do you think? I mean, we kind of had a glimpse of John's stuff last week. What do you think? Someone was asking, why is he not wearing his armor here in the war room?
Good question. I don't know.
My opinion, this is my opinion, is that he's not wearing it because Kit Harington has complained it's really heavy, like the coat of plates that he has to wear. So just what he's wearing here would probably be fairly heavy as it is, and then having to wear that, it's pretty heavy. And it's funny, I saw Emilia Clarke talking about in an interview. She was talking about how much she had to bake when they were, doing the Essos scenes, like how hot it was. The days were so hot. Of course, she's quite fair, and then she had to wear a wig, and that how Kit Harington would always be complaining about how heavy his costume was. So she's like, oh, she got so sick and tired of it. She's like, you don't have to bake in the sun like we did. So anyway, that's what I was thinking, that for these interior shots, they maybe decided just to lose the armor just so he didn't have to wear it because it's so heavy.
I don't think he's worn the armor since he arrived at Winterfell, actually. He wasn't wearing it when they go on the Aladdin like joyride. I can show you.
Yeah. Majora says he looks vulnerable without his armor. Maybe that's what it is. That's a very good point, because he's going through sort of an internal struggle right now. Like, even though it's interesting, so you've got all the stuff that's happening with planning the battle, obviously, and then he's got that subtext of all the information that he's learned, and with the exception of that scene that he has with Sam where they're talking about, he's like, have you told her yet? And he's like, no, and not until the end when he finally does tells Dany. So maybe it is to kind of give him a bit more vulnerability without the armor. What do you think of that, Tatiana?
I'm sorry, what? I was reading the comments.
What do you think about that idea of John not wearing the armor to just make himself appear a little bit more vulnerable, because he's going through this like internal struggle right now after finding out who he actually is, and he's yet to tell Dany the truth until the end of the episode. So do you think that maybe him not wearing the armor is just to show that?
Yeah, I can see it. I can see him like being at a crossroads and having a crisis while having another crisis while having another crisis. But he always has crises, so does it really surprise you that
he's so complicated? He's like, if he was on Facebook, his relationship description would be complicated. It's complicated. Someone just, Living in My Rhapsody said that she loves this picture because you've got the 4 Starks. And it's so funny because they're so different now, right? They're also like, you got Bran the potato, you got Arya the assassin, you got Sansa. I don't know what we describe her as. Sansa, Lady of Winterfell, Lord Commander of the Winterfell. And then you have John Aegon Targaryen, conflicted.
I call him John Gone. For now on, he's John Gone.
He's John Gone. Okay. So the swords that bind the dead to the tombs are missing. Sorry. Sorry, Tatiana and Koshenko, but I got to take off to a fire meeting. Oh, very cool. 30 days are you a volunteer firefighter? 30 days?
Hot.
Yeah, you have
I
a
also
great
love
name as
that.
well.
I also love that my name is
Oh,
Titania. I am now Queen of the Fairies. I
Arya
love it.
the assassin and Sansa the tactician. That would be good. She looks like she kind of like in that outfit there in this picture. She kind of reminds me of somebody from Star Wars. So she looks like she would be standing on the Death Star. Like she kind of, I don't know. That's how I feel about all that black. But anyway,
Like a hot bounty hunter.
yeah, yeah. Arya, the assassin. Jon Snow, resident hot mess. You guys are cracking me up. Okay, so last night while I was lying in bed, thinking about this episode, for some reason, all I could think about, this was actually a long time ago, that Dow Jones had suggested that I do like or that we do an awards show. So I was thinking, I got this idea that at the end of season 8, we should do an awards show for costumes, So I was thinking we could have like best formal wear, best evening attire, or we could do, best office wear. Like I was thinking, who would have the best office wear? Like
I would think Elena because Elena's always ready to
Elena.
negotiate.
Elena is always ready to get down to business.
Yeah.
And no, so
her and Tywin.
Yeah, definitely. What other kinds of attire could we have? Like I was thinking we could have best couples costume. We could have
best sexy outfit.
Best sexy, for sure.
Yeah,
well, Danny's got that one sexy outfit she wears after
swimwear. Oh my god, best swimwear.
Best swimwear. Who would have the best swimwear?
I was gonna say something, but it could get very dark.
Yeah,
it could be. I was thinking like the bastards that were the bastards that were killed and drowned.
Oh my god, that's so
my mind went so dark. Oh my god, I am sorry.
Who would win best 80s prom dress?
Stop putting thoughts of undead sexy Elena in my head. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Let's say in a ring, so she can work it.
Yeah, best boudoir outfit. Yeah. Who would win best 80s prom dress though, Tatiana?
Oh, wow.
That's a joke. I thought I was trying to give you I was trying to
I know. I'm getting into it. I was thinking maybe Miss Sunday.
Oh no, I think you should say the Tarleys.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, best wedding attire for sure. For sure, best wedding attire. But I want to do some fun ones too, the funnel dress. Well, that would be sort of like the best the costume that looks most like a dessert or like a meal. The burrito dress, that would be like, oh, the Tarleys are the best. Yeah, that's what I was sort of going for. Hi, Sabina. Hi, Blood Honey. Get some new people in here. Some new peeps.
Oh, hi.
Tatiana's saying hello. Here she's. Tatiana, you're very energetic today, by the way.
Yeah. The episode made me like this. The episode had too many things. I have been subtly and powerfully holding this in until today. Although don't ask Aaron because he will tell you that I freaked out on him last night. Like,
oh really?
He was like, girl, calm down. It's like, girl, right now you're too busy to freak out, so I'm freaking out for both of us. Okay.
Oh, so
don't freak out. There's a lot of freak out to do.
Goddess, most off the wall outfit, is that literally off the wall or is that like out of this world? Well, some of the wives aren't much more than rotted bones, are they?
Best Alexander McQueen inspired outfit.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Oh, so what is the Dragon Demands wearing for his convention presentation? I'll have to see that. Maybe you can send me a link to that. I want to see that. Clarth, how are you? Did you come from the Dragon Demands channel? We were talking about the dragon. That's funny. So last week, I was going to tell you that the Dragon Demands talked about him, and then I messaged him like to say, hey, Dragon Demands, we were chatting about you. He goes, why would you do that? I'm crazy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm really loud. But I guess he was getting into some drama on Twitter. But the other thing I was going to tell you guys is that last week, who came up with the idea of Walmart Jaime? Who was that? Tatiana, do you remember who came up with Walmart Jaime? We were talking about,
yeah, for Harry Strickland. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, who was that? Was it Aeson?
Aeson, did you come up with that? Anyway, so what happened was I did a meme on Twitter, like it was so Harry Strickland versus Jaime Lannister, and yeah, exactly. And I put Jaime versus Walmart Jaime. Like I just made this little meme, and I said thanks to my viewers who came up with this meme. Anyways, it totally took off. Like it had like 10,000 impressions and over 200 likes.
Yes, look at you trending on Twitter. Oh,
yeah, Aeson read it on Twitter, but Aeson, we came up with it in the live stream last week. Do you remember? I just thought it was so funny. So we have to think of a meme for this week. Maybe it'll be a sexy meme. It'll be it. But I didn't come out with that. Who came out with it, Vanessa?
I don't remember. Was it 3 days?
Someone came up with it. Yeah, I thought it was Jenny of Old Stones or something like that.
Probably someone did. Someone from here did.
Yeah, someone from here did. Whoever did. Anyways, you're hilarious, and it got a lot of. Okay, so what are we going to look at? We've got only a few things left to look at.
Well, we can talk about the Danny John bombshell that happened right before the alarm sounded. That.
Oh, hold on. No, Aeson, what had happened was we talked about it on the live stream last week, and then I made that meme. I made that Jaime versus Walmart Jaime meme, and then I shared it. But it was you guys who came up with it. You've been posting the best. Oh, thanks so much, Pastel. That's nice. So it was because my husband didn't know that I had made the meme. I said, well, I didn't come up with it, but I created the meme. Like I just use Canva, like where I do all my thumbnails. So that's where I came up with it. But I didn't create the actual description, which I thought was hilarious. But then I had I think it was one of my viewers. She says she thought that Harry Strickland was good looking, and I'm like, really? I think he kind of has a bit of a horse face. That's my opinion. Is that shallow?
I mean, everybody has their taste. Who am I to judge?
Netflix versus or some people will say they'll say what you think you're going to get from Amazon versus what you get from Amazon. It's sort of like that. Oh, Aeson, you read a tweet with Walmart Jaime. Oh, okay. Well, maybe they were talking about it. Okay, I get it. I totally get what you're saying.
Oh, we can also talk about Patrick. We haven't really talked about Patrick a lot.
I don't know if I have any pictures of him. Hold on, let me see.
I was impressed. He became a man. He just, training like a bam.
He's really filled out.
He's really filled out, although that hair has to die. His hair has to die.
Yeah, I'm not
good with that hair.
Let me see if I can find him here. Oh, also we can also talk about Lyanna Mormont as well. Lyanna Mormont. Tatiana, listen to me.
Oh, also Lyanna. Oh,
Cotting.
I like that cop. I like that scene. She's like she ain't taking no orders from no man. Excuse you.
Yeah, she's pretty cute,
She's fierce.
I watch she's on the Worst Witch. My son and I watched that together. Oh, bye, Larissa. She says we have a heap of new snake tanks coming today. Oh my God. And have to sort out the room they're going in. Needs to be done before the shipper gets here. Wow. Well, have a great day. That sounds interesting. And then, hi, Bartimaeus says Harry Strickland is pretty in a common sort of way. Do you mean from the books or you mean the actor?
I think the actor. Also, Goddess says Harry Strickland was like a mail order Jamie from Wish. Ouch. Ouch! That hurt.
Yeah,
that was.
Lady Mormont's armor is great. My only thing is, and this is I say this all the time, is they don't have anything covering the bottom. Like it's just the
Yeah.
breastplate. And the other thing, and I meant to say this earlier, that and it's going to be interesting going into the battle what's going to happen, but oh sorry, here's the picture. Can you guys not see it? It's going to be interesting going into the battle to see who actually wears a helmet because this is one of the things I noticed. Nobody ever wears helmets, which is like one of the most vulnerable parts of your body you have. So I bet you dollars to donuts that John won't be wearing a helmet. I don't think he ever does.
Well, he's probably gonna be on a dragon, so.
You think so?
Oh yeah, yeah, he's gonna be on a dragon protecting Bran.
Yeah.
He's gonna be on Raven.
Book reference. That's how Bruce Bolton describes Ramsay's mother. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Ouch.
So yeah, I love her armor. So my only thing is I would have liked to have seen something on the bottom. So this is where like they don't use a lot of this, but they don't use any chainmail in the show or mail, which is what you would put underneath the armor, and then that helps to stop the knife blows. But I don't know. Vanessa says, and it was real armor for once, not fake one. Which one are you talking about then, Vanessa? Not helmets, not hats. Yeah. So Michelle, she talks about this, that she fights the producers about the helmets and the hats. So if you guys ever saw, most recently, there's this guy named who is it? I had a weapons expert on, and we went over the movie with Chris Pine, the one about it was sort of about Robert the Bruce. What was the name of that movie? So that movie has excellent use of armor in it. So that's one thing. Game of Thrones, they go more for character as they go for saying. Didn't Bruce wear chainmail? Yes, he did wear it. Pastel, he did wear it underneath his clothing.
The producers, I swear, the producers are like Edna Mode from The Incredibles when it comes to capes. Like
no capes. Yeah. Sansa wasn't real armor. Arya doesn't wear a real one. Daenerys season 2. Lyanna is a real armor though. Yeah, hers is she's wearing real armor for sure.
Yeah.
She did wear, I thought she wore armor in the scene where Rob goes to meet her, and then they need extra men. Is it Rob? Who goes to meet with? It's John. So when John goes to ask her to help, she's got like 50 men or something. I thought she was wearing armor in that scene. Her men were wearing armor for sure. So yeah,
at the time when when John and Sansa go to Bear Island.
Yeah, it's John and Sansa. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she was just wearing clothes. She wasn't wearing an armor yet.
Yeah. So I mean, because what she's wearing there, she's just wearing basically cloth skirts. She's not wearing actually armor on her legs. So when you see, the Starks, they have a full coat of armor. That's the entire thing is armor. So when you just see someone only wearing a breastplate, they're really only wearing half the armor. So that's the only thing.
It's like an eighth of the armor.
An eighth of the armor. Yeah, she doesn't have the helmet. Yeah. So anyways, we'll see what happens. But I think at this point, I've sort of just given up. She could be wearing armor under the skirt. No, the armor would always be over the skirt. Always. Yeah. So it would be so if you notice that the Starks, they always wear the skirts like a cloth skirt, like a quilted skirt, which would be like a gambeson, and then they wear it. But and when you see my next video on Jaime, I talk about it. It's kind of like a Japanese skirt. It's a separate piece. So it's like a foundation garment, and then they wear the either the mail or the plate or whatever is always on top. And then gambeson could be worn. Apparently gambeson can be worn over mail or under mail kind of thing, depending. So I'm still working more into it, looking more into it. But yeah, it would be definitely the most exterior piece that you would wear. So anyway, but other than that, I think she looks adorable.
Yeah.
And she's not going to be sitting around knitting.
She looks powerful. I love it. And I love I love because it kind of parallelized Gendry's scene with Arya. Where he's like, go to the crypts, you'll be safe. You're still a girl, don't leave it to the men. And she's like, but you, hell no.
He doesn't know anything about her. This is back to, again, my sort of thing about their love scene. Like, he doesn't know anything about her. He knows nothing about her. He doesn't know what she's been doing for the last 5 years. You know, she doesn't know. Yeah, like she didn't even know that what had happened. She didn't know what happened to him. She didn't know he was like Robert's son, bastard son.
Well,
That
she knows now.
No, I know. I just, you know. But anyway, so what else are we going to talk about, my dear? Oh, you want to talk about Gilly?
Oh, sure.
Well, you know how I feel about it.
Am I the only one who thought she looked pudgy, like around the face?
She's gained weight. You know what? Somebody else had asked me that. They were talking online about whether she's pregnant, which I'm like, okay, just because she looks like she's gained weight doesn't mean she's pregnant. But the actress at the premiere has put on weight, like she has, and she shows it in her face, right?
Yeah, like a lot, like, and not in a good way. I didn't think it. Not that I don't think I'm really not body shaming. Believe me, I'm like the last person to body shame. But
yeah,
it didn't look great. Especially with the costume, which again I love. The costumes. We have talked about this.
Oh, so people were trolling her for.
Wait, she is pregnant. I mean, the actress is pregnant. The actress is expecting her first child, as far as I was aware.
Oh, where's that? Oh, okay. Oh, there you
go. Mazel y'all.
Okay. Yeah. But the character doesn't necessarily mean the character's pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, on the ones that like aesthetically, I didn't love it, but like on the bigger picture, that means she's eating and she's healthy and she's soon. I think it's more like the I think it's more the filter. It's like because like we saw the promo picture of her, and she and she looked beautiful. She looked gorgeous. I think it's just that the filters just made her look washed out and like older, and that plus the added weight didn't really help her.
Yeah, and they've gone with this color. Like her hair is really more honey colored, I think, than this, and so they've gone with this sort of like what I call mousy brown, like that color, and it's not really very flattering. That's why I think that's one of the issues I took with her hair when she went to the Tarleys, because they put those ringlets in it, and sort of mousy colored already, and then they add these ringlets, and I just I've never really been crazy about her hair. But the costume, I love it. And actually I don't have it. I don't think I have a picture of it here, but I noticed there's one point where she's talking to another woman who is wearing something similar. And what somebody else had pointed out, it kind of is similar to the, Old Town, where the Maesters. It kind of reminds me a little bit of that. Or even to a lesser extent, I was looking at Melisandre's cloak. It has that sort of thing. So you've got like a cloak that's open in the front with like full sleeves. She's got hers are tacked back and they're fur lined, and then it's kind of like a cowl that's worn over top of it. Oh, sorry, Majora, I'm not I think I don't mean like people who are mousy, it's terrible. I just meaning like I don't think it works for her. And then, like as Tatiana said, with the lighting and everything, so she's got like a really kind of a peaches and cream complexion.
Yeah, she needs like early seasons King's Landing lighting to like really make her shine.
Yeah, I mean the poor girl, and she was she was wearing that brown rag, as Craster's wives were all wearing those. Yeah, so Vanessa says it kind of looks like the Maesters from the Southern. So it sort of has that sort of Southern look. But then when they in the crowd, they show another woman wearing something similar. So it's kind of like it's a cloak, and then underneath it, she's wearing actually a really, you can't really see it, but it's a really pretty sort of soft gray, which I sort of think would be more something that Sansa would wear. And then she's got this beautiful kind of like floral print scarf that's underneath it, or maybe it's a lining, I think. And if you saw her in season 7, she had something sort of similar with that kind of similar print. So Michelle's sort of like building on that, I think. Michelle's kind of come up with something for her, and she's sort of like building on it, I think. I think
also,
she's
I really like her sleeves. I really like the sleeves on her.
I love the sleeves too. The sleeves are very much like Caitlin Stark, they're sort of full at the bottom, sort of with the fur lining, and then tacked back, and it's just the fabric's really nice, and there's lots of layers and lots of folds,
Yeah,
and it would just be really interesting to see it.
On hers, it's like it like opens. There's like a slit, like Catelyn's. It was like fully closed bell shape, but here it's like there's a slit and it opens.
Yeah, let me see. I've got there's a picture of them where they're lying in bed together as well. Here it is with little Sam. Yeah. Oh, now see, and he's got something similar. Is he not the cutest little thing? Like, we haven't actually.
He's finally grown up. What is his age?
How old is this? He should be what, like 8 by now, shouldn't he?
I guess. He looks 5.
Yeah, I'd say
no one knows.
Yeah, well, they kept him a baby for a long time. How it might have been easier just for the scenes.
Yeah, well, they had to turn him everywhere.
Yeah, it kind of has a bit of a Caitlyn gown. So Caitlyn's, the difference was hers were like slightly fitted, and then she always had that little brooch closing it. That's sort of a Tully. I keep getting the Tarly and the Tullys mixed up, by the way. Sorry if I'm doing that. Tully, Tarly, Tyrell. There's too many T families. They should not have Tarly, Tully, Tyrell. That's just wrong. It should. Someone else was complaining the other day about how some of the names were too close together. How some of the names were just like too similar. So it kind of, hey, Angel Lover's back. Hello. Oh, it looks like Mr. Aemon. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is it Bran and Rickon's Maester? Yes, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Because yeah, he wasn't wearing so we always sort of think of like in the Citadel, they're wearing kind of like more neutral, natural colors, and then Qyburn is wearing black. I can't remember what the other guy wore, the one with the white beard, the pervert. What colors was his? But
pervert?
It is
pervert.
The pervert, the one he's like a pervert, and
Sansa.
Yeah, Cersei kind of tears a strip off of him at the wedding, like stay away, and then she recommends Qyburn instead. What's his name?
Pycelle.
Yeah, he's an old pervert.
Repo.
Oh, Living My Rhapsody has to go. She says, "Gotta run, my lovelies. Great stream. I'll catch you in the next one. We'll catch you." Yeah, so they were beige, and then so like you're saying, Master Aemon, his he was a great character. His clothing, his dress, or his robe, I should say, was kind of more like that. So Michelle tends to cross those over quite a bit. So anyway, I love it.
The previous photo, you can kind of see her sleeves if you zoom in the previous photo.
Sorry, what's that?
That in the previous photo, in the previous Gilly photo, you can kind of see her sleeves if you zoom in.
And let me find it again. Where'd you go?
The Throne's tongue twister. Charlie, Tully, Tasha, Tyrell, Tyrion, Tywin, Tormund, Trystane. Yeah, I win.
It must be. Maybe George likes T names. Maybe T is his favorite letter.
Maybe.
Tarly, Tully, Tysha, Tyrell, Tyrion, Tywin, Tormund, Trystane. Wow. Yeah, it's too many. So, but the houses, I always get them confused. Like Tarly, Tully, Tyrell, Tyrell. I don't know, however you want to say it. I said it's funny in one of the videos because one of my favorite movies of all time is Blade Runner, and it's Tyrell or Tyrell. Is it Tyrell? It's Tyrell. And so I said it a certain way, and then someone was like, you don't say it that way. But apparently, I read this, that on set, they couldn't quite, because apparently in England, they don't always say it the same way. Sometimes they say Tyrell, sometimes they say Tyrell. And everyone apparently didn't say it the same. The same with Karth. Some people didn't say Karth the same way. It's really funny.
Wow.
Tarth. And Tarth. What's Tarth?
Tarth, where Brienne of Tarth.
Oh, Brienne of Tarth, of course. Sorry. Blah. Yes.
Oh.
So we looked at it. Okay, should we look at Dany? Do you want to look at her? I know we talked about her a little bit.
Yeah.
Now I posted on our group that there's this one lady named Linnea who is responsible. She's from Sweden. She's the one who's made all these costumes. And it's funny because this whole thing with the capes, the shoulder capes coming from IKEA. So they've named her IKEA. You say Tyrell, not Tyrell. Yeah. Majora says. So, but I'm also weird, she says. No, you're not. Anyway, I think
We're
I've been
all weird
saying,
in this show,
I
honey.
think in the show it's Tyrell, but I
In the show,
think it's Tyrell, or do you say Tyrell? What do you say?
I always say Tyrell.
It's
Tyrell's
Tyrell, I think, in the show. Yeah.
And again,
But
people say either Cersei or Cersei.
I'm always like, yeah, like
So.
Dan always says Sansa, like it's got a Z in it. I never say it that way. I always say Sansa. But you know, to be honest with you, I change it a lot.
Yeah.
So this girl
I think J.R. Martin says, you know what? You just say it however the hell you want. I don't really care.
Yeah.
As long as you know the characters.
Yeah, because he actually says Dothraki, like Dothraki. How does he say it? He said, I saw an interview and I was like, oh my God, he doesn't even say Dothraki. He says it totally different.
Well, it's his language. He can say however the hell he wants.
Yes, absolutely. Tyrell, Cersei,
also,
Sansa. See, I don't say Sansa. I don't say Sansa.
Or from Great Britain. I love her countries, by the way.
Yeah, Arya. I know it's Arya.
Arya.
Dothrakon. Is that how George says it? Dothrakon?
Dothrakon.
That's weird. I don't know. Anyway, okay. So apparently this girl named Ikea from Sweden. Her real name's not Ikea. Her real name's Linnea. She made these dresses. So she actually did all the fur. So she did the vest that we see on Missandei, which I'm like, I'm like give or take kind of thing. And she made the white coat, and she made last season's white coat, and she made this one. And then, so she's responsible for this. Now, what I was going to say, now, did I ever show this to you, Tatiana? How I think I showed this to you that I thought, oh, it's not showing. For some reason, my picture's not showing. Then I thought that this dress sort of looked like a dessert. Like, that one of those multi-layered desserts where you have all those little thin layers of cake and then thin layers of cream. Did I mention that to you last time we talked?
Oh yeah, the chocolate thing, the chocolate cake.
Kind of like a tiramisu. That's what when I first saw it, that's what I thought. It looked like these thin little. Anyway, so it's like they've cut. This is the white one. Sorry, they've cut the fur like into these tiny little strips, and then they've sort of reversed it. So they do like a bit of red, and then they do the gray, and then red and gray and red and gray, and then in between they also pink the leather. They sort of do these little zigzag. I don't think you can see it.
Yeah.
So she said, according to Linnea Ikea, the girl who made this, she said this took a long time. I don't know if it took longer than the white one, but she said it took quite a long time. Now, the bottom, like it's sort of got that crisscross thing with, again, when you got that shoulder armor thing happening, Cobra-like armor, and then it's got the plain bottom. I think Asen says she didn't, opera cake, exactly. She said she wasn't that crazy about the bottom. What did you think of the bottom? Oh, I say tiramisu, so cute. How do you guys say tiramisu?
Tiramisu.
I put the emphasis on the syllable. I said tiramisu. You say tiramisu. Tatiana, tiramisu.
Yeah.
Let me hear you say it.
Tiramisu.
See, I put the emphasis on the syllable. See, I'm Canadian, guys, so we say things funny up here. We're in the north. We're north of the wall.
Oh, honey, our Spanish is horrendous. People, you know what? You know how people who know Spanish like to
por favor.
No, they people like to. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
Riff?
Like to do accents, that they want to do different accents. Like to this day, I have not heard one person who can successfully do our accent well.
Yeah.
Like it's like our Spanish, because we instead of R's we say L's. Instead of R's we say double L's. Our Z's are basically C's, as in not zebra. We don't say zebra. We just say we say like C. Like C.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Goddess, we have an invisible wall. We try to we actually we don't have a border wall, but we have a border. It's like
that's so cool, Majora. I wanted to go to Hadrian's Wall when I was in England, but I couldn't. I didn't have time or money. I was very poor.
So let me see if I can find any other pictures of.
I will say that I still don't love the plainness at the bottom of the skirt. I wish there was more in the front of the skirt. Although I do like the back.
Yeah.
The back skirt I really like. The skirt I really like. But what I do like about the skirt overall is how tall it makes her look. She looks tall in that outfit.
Yeah, I think the white one, it tends to dwarf her a little bit. Like someone said also, like we were speaking of weight, and we're not trying to body shame anybody at all, but that she looked bigger. I think it was actually Larissa, and I said I think that, like, first of all, there's a lot of layers going on there, right? That they've to make this costume. And Michelle said that they had to put it on a base. So she's got a base, kind of like a corset base. And then there's all those little sandwich layers that are going on with the cobra, or with the collar, and then especially the white one, which is all little strips that are seamed together. So I think it's just bulk, really, right? Like, I mean, the actor, she's quite petite, and I don't think that's a weight thing personally.
No, because she's tiny. She's teeny tiny.
She's very tiny. Amelia Clark. Sorry.
I will say, her premiere dress, the dress that Amelia Clark she wore to premiere was horrendous. I mean, how the hell did she get out of her house in that dress? She did not look good at all.
I didn't. You know which one I didn't like? I didn't like who's the actress who plays Melisandre? I thought
Clarice.
Clarice. It looked kind of like a witch. Like it was black, and then it had this drape, and then these little puffy sleeves. Like I was like, because I did the analysis of the Worst Witch, and I'm like, oh my god, that would have been perfect on the Worst Witch. I didn't really like it. But other than that, I thought everyone looked great. Especially,
the best dress by far, Gwendolyn Christie. Oh my god, her dress! I lived for her dress.
Yeah, it was amazing. And actually, it was Asun found the designer of that dress, and her stuff is unbelievable. But I mean, I think that actually, the actress who plays Sansa, whatever her name is, she always looks amazing. Yeah, Sophie Turner. She's got an incredible sense of style. I think she always looks.
I really like her dress. Macy Williams' dress.
Nah.
I didn't really hate it, but I didn't like it. It did not suit her figure. She needed something else.
Yeah. Oh, Majora. I didn't like her makeup either. She was wearing like this really dark lipstick. It was so dark and really dark for her. Whose husband's a designer? Is that?
I think it's Gwendolyn Christie. Gwendolyn Christie is married to.
Oh, her husband's. Yeah. No, she looked amazing. So Asun's here. She might remember who the designer is, but she sent me some pictures of her collection, and it was just like unbelievable. Like
I wanted Emilia Clarke to like strip naked and burn the dress right there on the red carpet, because my god, it did not look good at all.
Yeah,
but she looked. Yeah. Again, I'm really not trying to body shame anyone, but this is a petite, skinny ass woman, and that dress made her look fat. You do not do that to a skinny petite woman.
Yeah. No. So I think this is the issue with the bulk, whereas like say when Amelia Clarke was over, like she's curvy, right? I mean, apparently, they cast her because she's curvy. The original actor who was supposed to take the role was very lanky and slim. She was in The Tudors. She was one of the wives in The Tudors. And so apparently the reason why they did cast Emilia Clarke is because even though she was supposed to be playing a young woman, they didn't want her necessarily to look like a young woman. So they intentionally cast somebody who was curvy. And I think which works for her. So when she's in those scenes in Marine, oh my God, she always looks like a goddess. You know what I mean? In those dresses. so in this case, I don't know, maybe just, Winterfell, it doesn't suit her as well. And a lot of people have commented about why she doesn't have any type of armor. And I had wanted armor so badly starting last season. I actually was tweeting out pictures of types of armor. I'm like, oh, wouldn't this be great? Wouldn't this be great?
I designed freaking armor for Dany because I wanted her to have armor.
Yeah, or a saddle on the dragon. Like someone did a drawing the other day of a saddle for the dragon, which was amazing. So we don't have a saddle for the dragon. We don't have armor on her while she's riding. And then we talked about this last week, that when that scene when her and John were flying up in the air, I was just like, oh my God, it must be just so cold. Like just the idea. So Michelle had said that this is supposed to be kind of like her armor, but it's not armor. So I don't really understand the reasoning behind it. It's the same with her not wearing a crown. Like she's named herself the queen, but she's not wearing a crown. And then Michelle says it's because she hasn't earned the crown yet. But yet she's sort of stated that she's the queen, and she's got people who have, pled fealty or whatever to her as the queen and knelt to her as the queen. So I don't really, anyway, so I'm not really 100% that I understand everything behind what is going on in Michelle's brain there.
Dany, I read a review. I remember who was the reviewer, but they like posted an analysis about why Dany is feeling so defeated in a sense in Westeros as opposed to Slaver's Bay. Because in Slaver's Bay, she wasn't fighting for a throne. She was fighting for the people.
Yeah.
She was fighting to free the slaves. That showed her compassion and her generosity and her sense of justice. But once she comes to Westeros, it changes. Because there is no one here technically to be free. I mean, sure, the people are oppressed, but they're not slaves. They do earn a wage, as depressingly pitiful as it can be.
So they have another picture.
They're not, and people are not clamoring for a savior, so to speak. So instead of
the picture of
her kindness and her generosity and her selflessness for the people, she has gone back to her lineage, her rightful place to the throne, but she has not earned that. That's why I am so okay with Michelle now putting a crown on her head, because she has not. She earned the crown in Marine.
Yeah.
She earned the crown in Karth, in Astapor, in Slaver's Bay. She earned that because she freed the people. She gave them lives. She gave them their life back. Here, she just stands there. It's like, yep, I'm the queen.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I mean, she's got what Michelle calls is a chain of intent, which is that, the silver chain she wears across her body with the 3 dragons. Someone was saying the other day, is she going to take away one of the dragons? Which is a really interesting point. But it is, I mean, there's 3 heads of the dragon from her sigil, but also then you in parallel to that, you have her 3 dragons, but now she's down to the 2. One of the things I was going to say about this scene, Tatiana, did you notice it when I love this picture here. It feels very Romeo and Juliet, the 2 of them in the crypt together, with her being the white and him being the dark, and it just looks really good. But one of the things I noticed when she tries to go into the crypt to meet up with John, and he's sort of a little bit taken off guard because he's not in that headspace, right? He's standing and looking at the statue of Lyanna, and he's not probably at that point where he's like, okay, I can talk to her now. So he's caught off guard. But one of the things I noticed is that when she was walking, it just sounds like squishing. Like you're like, what is on that floor? You just hear this squish, squish, squish. Like, do you remember that? Or maybe it was just me.
That was awkward.
I kept going, what is on that floor? And all I could think about is her shoes getting really muddy. I'm like, oh my God, her boots are going to be all muddy. Someone should have come down and laid out laid out some straw for her before she walked on it.
Again, it's not the first time her shoes have been muddy. I'm pretty sure she doesn't care.
Yeah. No, Blood Honey, Cersei wears a crown. Everyone's worn a crown when they're on the throne. So when she has been on her throne is when she would have worn the crown, right?
Yeah.
When you're keeping court. So that's
power. What can I say? You need the crown. You need
yeah. So that's just a choice she's made for her not to have a crown. And but like I said, she's got this chain of intent.
Also, Blood Honey
Uh,
says, like,
well, John, yeah, well, they're the northern. They're the northern, but what's his name? War crown. Renly war crown.
Yeah. Also, Blood Honey says Dany has dragons, doesn't need armor. Well, Rhaenys and Visenya had dragons, and they still needed armor. I mean, they're not gonna be 24/7 on the dragons.
Yeah, I mean the idea is that the dragons have their scales as like their armor, but she's still, if there's arrows that are flying in the sky, she should technically still need armor while she's on the dragon, right? So obviously the spear didn't protect the dragon, but they've got that built-in armor. If anybody watches, by the way, it's so funny. I just went to see that new the dragon, what's the name of that dragon cartoon called? I took my kids to see it. It was actually not bad. What's it called?
The Dragon Prince, I think.
No, not the Dragon Prince. You know, the one with Hiccup? Have you seen that?
Oh, How to Train Your Dragon.
How to Train Your Dragon. So we went to watch the last one. I actually really liked it. So what they did, so they made their armor actually out of dragon scales. That's what they did, which I thought was really cool. And then he has this thing. It was really cool. So what they do is he makes the armor, or actually he makes the wings for his dragon who has a broken wing. And then what he does, he paints it with some type of resin, and then he has the dragon breathe on it with the fire to cook it, like almost to like a kiln, you know what I mean? And then puts it on. But that's what they did. They actually built their thanks guys, How to Train Your Dragon. Everyone must think I'm an idiot. So I took my kids to see that. So but they all wear some type of, so that's what I thought. It just was like, it just made sense to me. It's sort of like a slightly medieval, fantasy world that they would all wear armor, and that there would be a saddle of some type on the dragon. That's just me. But I've been wanting that for ages, for her to have something like that. And it could be white, it could have fur with it, what have you. That's just what, I don't know. I'd always thought that. So to me, it just seems strange that they decided not. And I know Michelle, this was her idea. Dave and Dan actually didn't come up with this idea. So she actually had to sell them on it. They didn't like the idea. When she says, I'm going to do this white coat, they were like, what? Like, what, you think that would work? And she's like, yeah, no, it totally would work. So she actually had to convince them, as opposed to, say, when she came up with the idea for Cersei's coronation gown, or I think it was the blow up the Septa Baylor gown. Actually, that was the first one. She designed the two at the same time. So she came up with the black pleathery gown with the one where she's drinking. And then she had the final one where she's coronated with the shoulder pieces. So they immediately loved those dresses. They were like, yes, totally. So she basically designed that like immediately. Whereas the Dany one, she actually had to kind of convince them for that. So they weren't completely sold on it either. So that's why, because I think it just would seem obvious that she would wear some type of armor. Yeah, dragon glass. Well, this is what a lot of people have talked about. Sansa's dress that she wears in the upcoming episode. It looks like it's probably like a dragon glass of some type, or bright green glass, or GTFO. Who on earth Westeros argues with Clapton at this point? Well, it was Dave and Dan. Well, they're the producers, right? So, they're the producers. So they're sort of like their baby. Love Cersei's black dresses, and I love Dany's white fur coat. That's why I made those two dolls. And your dolls are gorgeous. Asun, I was going to tell you, by the way, I don't know if you noticed this yesterday. I only have one famous person that's following me. She's an actress. Her name is Julie Carmen, and she was in a movie called Fright Night, but she's also in the Milagro Beanfield War as well. And anyway, so you tweeted that picture of your Dany doll, and then I retweeted it, and she liked it. So I wanted to tell you that Julie Carmen loved your doll. She's a famous actress. Blood Honey says, I always wondered how Dany got the dragon claw necklace. Lariat she wore in Marine. That's what I was thinking, that the claws just fell off. I always got the idea that they're actual claws, that like it's kind of like a cat when they lose their claws and then they just grow back. That's what I had sort of thought. Is that what you sort of thought, Tatiana?
Maybe.
That you know how Dany wears those claws in Marine?
Yeah.
That's what I'd sort of thought, that they just kind of fell off as they ate, like as they grew up, they would sort of, and the same with the scales. I would just assume that as they grow and develop this, they would shed scales. I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure how it works in dragon lore. But that's sort of what I had thought would be great.
George R. for that.
I'll have to ask George for that, about that.
Yeah.
About his lore.
Yeah, about the dragons, about do they shed? Do they shed the claws? Do they shed their scales? Do they not? Or do they not? Because sometimes it could be just like the top layer of skin on the scales, and not that they
shed.
Yeah.
It's interesting because we've been talking about dragon glass, and we have a museum in Toronto called the ROM, and they now have, like, it's really great. They've digitized a lot of their collection, which, by the way, guys, if you're ever doing research, it's a really great way to look into things if you can't get out to a museum. A lot of museums like the Met and the V&A and so on have put a lot of their collections online. So I was looking up obsidian, and they have obsidian, which is kind of like dragon glass, right? It's like they have obsidian, like arrowheads that are like hundreds and if not thousands of years old, that are still in like pretty solid condition. So I don't know how they did it, if they cut them and shaved them, or if they cast them. I'm not exactly sure how it would have worked, but it's pretty impressive to think that, we have pieces like that are thousands of years old, that are made out of obsidian. So it's not even out in that crazy realm to think that dragon glass could be something that would be used as a weapon, just to point that out. Wait, those are meant to be real dragon claws? That was my understanding. Yeah. So what it is they've taken the claw, and then they're actually drilled, and then she puts like a bead on the end of them, and then she puts them on a chain. And so she has one that's just one necklace, and then she has another one that's kind of like, they're like counterweights. So that's what I think that they're supposed to be. That's what I've sort of had come to the impression that they're meant to be.
I thought they were like dragon teeth, to be honest.
Yeah, like dragon I think they're supposed to be claws, because that, that's what, I'm not even sure where I got that information from, but that's what I had come to sort of understand, that's what they were. I'm just trying to see if I have any other. Do you want to talk about Bran at all? Or Bran, I should say?
Bran?
Yeah.
I'm really liking him this season. Like, last season he was such a, he was just like a robot. Like, but here, his one-liners are really getting me. I'm really responding to his one-liners, like that zing. He slammed Jamie with in the trials, like the things we do for love. Like, oh, I love
the scene. Yeah, I love the scene between the two of them in the Godswood. That was an amazing scene. Since he's a real puppet master. I love that scene. And it was sort of like, he's like, well, he's no longer Bran, so there's really nothing to forgive, kind of thing. Like, obviously Jamie's looking for redemption, perhaps.
Yeah, but if you hadn't pushed me, you wouldn't be who you are now, and I wouldn't be Bran. So.
It's really what started the chain of events. It's a really great point. Bran this season is a G, and I have the feeling that he is going to do something amazing. Oh, we can't wait for that. I've been calling him the potato. I got that from Charlie. I don't know if any of you guys watch Emergency Awesome. Do you watch that, Tatiana? He's really funny. I always have this sort of like, I always imagine what he's like. I have this idea that he lives still with his parents, but he's got this basement apartment that's like totally decked out, and he's got all the things, like he's got all the stuff, and he's done a full-on renovation, and he's always yelling at his mother, like she's like, Charlie, come up for dinner, and he's like, Ma, I'm doing Facebook, or like, Ma, I'm doing YouTube right now.
Lol.
But he's wicked smart. But he always
bye Sabina.
By Sabina, but he was referring to Tommen, like he's like a human potato that they just sort of move around, like Tommen's being used like a tool, like they just use him and they move him around like a human potato. And I think he was calling Bran a potato, so that's where I think I kind of came up with that.
Well, now he's a sassy potato, and I am living for it.
Yeah, he said that the other thing that happened was I thought that was really interesting. I saw him interviewed on Jimmy Kimmel or something like that recently. Isaac. Yeah, that's exactly, Vanessa, what I was going to say. He can't see without his glasses. So when he's doing a scene, he doesn't have glasses. And my husband's like, well, why doesn't he wear contacts? And I said, well, not everyone can wear contacts, right?
Especially in the cold. Believe me, contacts in the cold.
Yeah, so a lot of times he has that staring off, look because and then when he can actually roll his eye, Vanessa, you probably saw this. He can actually roll his eyes into the back of his head, that look. But he says he does wear contacts for that while he's warging.
Yeah.
But I thought anyway, I am really happy with him, but I think it's good, but he hasn't he's basically like he's saying that the Night King is coming for him, and he knows it. So
he's the memory of humanity.
It's a little bit like Luke Skywalker says, "No, I have to confront him alone." Talking about Darth Vader is sort of like that, through the Force, like they're communicating through the Force. So he has obviously some type of channel because he's left a mark on his arm, and there's some type of he can track him through that handprint.
Yeah. I also Majora says, I like the part where everyone left the room and only Tyrion was all, nobody going to will the cripple out. No.
Yeah. Oh my god! I didn't even notice that part. I have to rewatch it. That's hilarious.
Like even his feelings just roll out like mother effers.
Yeah, because someone was making a joke about that, like how he got left in the courtyard last week, and how there are no ramps at Winterfell, and how does he get around, kind of thing.
I think he just teleports. He calls on crows, and the crows just come and lift his chair and just floating around like a Dalek.
Yeah. Exactly. Now, one of the things I was going to say, this has nothing to do with costumes. I love this. This is sort of actually a medieval strategy where they dig a trench and then they put these sort of spears. Yeah. My husband said, and I thought this was really a good idea, they should have put dragon glass on the tips of that.
I think if you look closely, there's like edges of the dragon glass on the spikes on the spikes themselves.
I guess maybe there. Oh, you're right. There is some. But I guess
they put dragon glass everywhere.
Yeah. Everyone forgot about him. No Hodor to carry him. Did he really say that? I didn't notice.
No, he didn't say that, but it was implied.
It was implied. Okay, I thought he actually said that. Tyrion's exact words were, "Do you need help?" After everyone else straight up abandoned Bran in the room. Yeah, he probably doesn't care. He doesn't seem to hold a grudge.
He don't give a shit anymore.
Here he is with Jaime wearing Stannis' cloak. Yeah. And his costume's the same. I don't really have anything. I think that's going to be it. He's going to live and die in that cloak.
Yeah, like Blood Raven did.
Yeah, did you notice it was all shredded by the time he was done? Poor who's that actor? Who's pretty famous. He had to wear that like ratty old cloak. Yeah. He was actually in The Exorcist.
Oh.
He was the priest in The Exorcist.
Oh, cool.
Also, Tyrion was the first who asked Bran about what went through. About what he went through and all. Yep. Nobody else did. Oh yeah, that was a great scene too, Tatiana, where he says,
I
let's
love
talk
it.
about this.
Honestly, I know like we they cut because we had already like seen like Bran's journey, but I just wanted them to like sit down, have Terry with a glass of wine, and Bran just talking and talking and talking and talking.
I think that's one of the things. I think that's one of the things about Tyrion. Like everyone talks about how intelligent he is, but I think one of his skills is he's just a really good listener.
Yeah, because
Like
that's how he
that's one of
was.
yeah, like for instance, in the very first episode, like he actually comes out to talk to John, own your bastard, or what is it? Like he does that thing, like I'm a dwarf, like I own it. You gotta own being a bastard. And also when they go up to the wall and he wants to sort of talk, he wants to sort of find out all kinds of things from other people. He's just always interested. Even he does that with Miss Sandy and Grey Worm, like, tell me about yourselves. I want to know about you. He's always interested. He's curious and he's a good listener. And I think that sometimes that's part of his intelligence, is
Yeah,
that his ability to listen.
yeah.
So anyway, guys, I think we've kind of pretty much touched on everything. Tatiana, is there anything else you wanted to add?
Um. Oh well, that when John reveals that he's Aegon
Oh,
Targaryen to Dany,
okay.
within
Let me just
also
find it.
Miss Sunday and Grey Worm's like that was sweet, that was cute.
I actually like that scene with them. Oh, this is an interesting thing. So some people thought, like, when she came out into the courtyard and there was those two little children and they kind of ran away scared, that like the kids were. What did you think of that? I mean, I kind of was a little like, yeah, they probably have never seen a brown person before, so they ran away. What did you think of that scene?
That was racist.
Yeah, yeah. Some people
But
thought it was
I
because they were from the north and they're just naturally suspicious
yeah.
of it. Could have been Danny and they
Also,
might have done that.
it's not that I am super loving Miss Sunday's outfit, but
Yeah.
I am loving it more than season 7 because at least they
Yeah.
closed the gap of the pants. We don't see the pants anymore. I am okay with that.
Yeah,
I'm okay with the pants. I'm okay with it with no more gap.
uh
The
don't know.
gap.
I ran away from shop's assistants when they say hello. Okay. Yeah. So, I didn't like that. Why all of a sudden they make Northerners racist? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. It was just, I don't know. It
Well,
didn't, that
they're
part didn't work for
naturally suspicious of anybody, really, especially after all the bullshit they had to go through with the South. These people
me.
are
Yeah.
even more South than South.
Now, I thought that the kiss between Grey Worm and Missandei was really good, though. I thought that was like
And
that.
that was like the nail in the coffin saying Grey Worm, you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good farewell. And then it was kind of like, and then he got right into formation, kind of like how when men went to war and the women would
Yeah.
be at the train station, or it had that feeling to me. It was like she doesn't know if she's ever going to see him again. So, and she looked pretty. I thought her hair looked really pretty. And
Yeah. I love her.
but
I
I
love
like her.
her. I
I
love
mean,
her.
her costumes. I've been like, you know how I've been. I've been a bit meh about them. I always like. I thought thought she had some pretty solid costumes. I didn't buy the whole idea that she is under Danny, so she's getting Danny's hand me downs. I've never bought that because first of
I
all,
think it's more that she's influenced by Danny.
she's
That
influenced by
because
Danny for sure. But Danny is providing her clothes. I mean,
yeah.
she's clothing her. I think she clothes
And
Tyrion
Miss
as well.
that would be
And
that would kind of be sad because like Miss Sunday, I think she's taller. Isn't Miss Sunday taller than Danny?
yeah, I think
So
so. Someone was saying Amelia is like 5'4". So I've never bought into the fact that she's wearing her hand-me-downs. Like I think she's got her own set of clothes. And I've oftentimes really liked her clothes, actually. I thought that they were really, really pretty. But that last outfit, I just wasn't really crazy about it, especially the pants. And then she's wearing she's wearing that cross piece that Danny wore, obviously, in Misa, the leather harness with the and then they've just added the fur to it, kind of thing. So yeah.
I
Anyway,
find the bread. It gives
someone was calling.
it I know it's not really practical, but it gives it texture, and I like it.
Now, you and I talked about this. Asun was involved in this conversation. So Linnea, who made the vest for Missandei, had described it as blue fur, but it's not literally blue fur, right? It's just meant to. What were you and Asun talking about that? I kind of was watching what you guys were chatting about. I should find a picture of her, by the way, while we're talking about her. We're talking about Missandei, by the way, everyone. So it's not like, so like I said, IKEA made that vest. They call her IKEA because she's from Sweden. So she described it as blue fur, but it's not literally blue fur. It has that sort of undertone of blue, I suppose. That's what she means by it. Why didn't I not have a picture of her?
I don't know. I know next to nothing about fur, so.
Okay.
Whatever she says goes.
I didn't, because I'd never heard that before. But Asun seemed to know what that was a bit about. So maybe that's a European thing. Yeah. It's kind of like there's this guy in I'm in a YouTube group, and he is really, I would call him vulgar. He's pretty vulgar. Like a lot of these guys, a lot of these YouTuber types, some of them are like, real techie types. They're really into gadgets and gear and stuff like that. So he's what I would call him crass, if that makes sense. Anyways, he sometimes uses language and I'm like, oh my God. Like I actually asked him if he could stop it at one point because he was kind of, I know we were sort of talking about sex earlier, but he was sort of making reference to himself in a sexual way. And I'm like, I really just don't want to hear it kind of thing. So the other day he used this one word and I was like, oh my God, like it refers to a woman's like vagina, but it's a very vulgar term for it. And I said, that's a really crude word. And he said, in England, it's not. And apparently it's not. And I was it's sort of funny how culturally you can have a word be a certain, have a certain meaning in a certain culture and then in another not. So I just thought that was really funny that, you could have this one word. Like I said Fustercluck in one of my videos. Yeah. And someone said, you know what that means? And I said, yeah, no, I totally know what it means. But I said it that way because I wouldn't, well, first of all, I didn't want to swear in the video, but also the AI, which is the artificial intelligence no, it's not the C word. It's not the C word. It is a T word for a woman's parts. If you guys can figure that out.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, but apparently in England, it just means kind of like an idiot or a moron. But in Canada, it's a very vulgar word. And you would never use it in public, in any kind of professional situation at all. So I was just shocked that he used it. I was just like, why are you using that word? That's a super vulgar word. Yeah, the T word. Yeah. And so anyways, it's just sort of strange when, like they use the C word on Game of Thrones, like a lot. But it's yeah. But usually it comes out of like the hound's mouth or something like that. So it works. Or what is it? Braun. And, those guys are like, he's a sellsword. So it just sort of seems to make sense. Yes, that's it. Angel over. It sort of makes sense because, those guys are kind of like crass and, but apparently even in England, like the C word, I guess some people use that just in regular language. And I'm like, really? Oh my gosh. I guess because when I grew up, if I even said anything like that, I would have been grounded for like a week.
You even thought about that word.
Yeah, and also it's just an incredibly offensive term for a woman's parts, right? But I guess nowadays, I don't know, things are different. I can't find a picture of Missandei, guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
just means idiot in British English. Yeah, so Majora, like in Canada, yeah, it's funny, you can't use that word. So I was a little bit mad at him because I was just like, why are you using that word in our, in our group? But it wasn't just that, like he's used other words before. So I kind of getting to the point where I just had asked him not to use that type of language. I said, we're like, there's like 100 of us. And I said, this is a small YouTube group. And there's only like a small amount of women. There might be only like 5 women and there's like 95 guys. So it just kind of gets to be like, I really don't feel like I want to be in a locker room with a bunch of dudes. And that's what it sometimes feels like. It's difficult being female creators. Not as many female creators as there are male creators. And like I said, a lot of the male creators tend to be not like the female creators tend to be makeup and unboxings and shopping and entertainment. And of course, there's lots of female creators in the Game of Thrones area, like fandom, which is awesome. But in a lot of the male creators tend to be the tech guys, right? They tend to be, that's what the big, or gaming. And so sometimes you feel a little bit like, yeah, Majora, I find that really, oh yeah, no, I've heard that. I had to look it up though. See, I had to look it up. I was like, why is this person? Yeah, so it's really strange. So in Canada, like there's a word in Canada that in French Canada, if you use it, it is so offensive, but most people would be like, oh, that's nothing. And I won't even say it because it's considered a very terrible word. So it depends on the culture, right? So there's certain words that are not that bad and other words that are terrible, I guess. Anyway, sorry to be ranting on about that. Okay, so Tatiana, let's just finish off with the Dany and John thing now. Yeah. Because then I'm going to have to wrap this up. I don't know what time it is.
Yeah, it's fascinating that when she finds out, her first thoughts aren't, oh my god, I'm not the only Targaryen, or oh my god, I have family again, or oh my god, I'm banging my nephew. It's like, oh my god, you have a claim to the throne. Oh my god, woman, priorities.
Yeah. Well, you know, I sort of feel the same way about that as I feel about dumbing down of Tyrion and Dany being angry with Tyrion, and that it's the writers, like they're taking it in that direction. Like, I think Vanessa Cole, who is on, she's from Watchers on the Wall, I think. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. She's very smart. She's saying that the Dany that we're seeing now is not the same Dany. Although you could argue that she's had this arc, but it's like she's got a very different motivation. Like when she had that scene with Sansa, she was like, Sansa sort of, I was like, oh, good. This is going to get settled and they're going to be besties and, you know, everything is going to be fine. And then that scene where she lifted her hand off of Sansa's hand, I was like, oh, God. So as soon as John told her that, she wasn't like, oh, my God, I can't believe this has happened to you. You must feel so conflicted. She just immediately took it as how this was going to affect herself. Right.
Yeah.
And how it was going to affect her being on the throne, as opposed to how it was going to, what the fallout for John could be, or what, you know, what it meant to their relationship. Like you say, you know, others are saying, you know.
Yeah. Or, hey, or, you know, a little bit of happiness because, hey, you're not the last Targaryen. You have family.
Yeah, that's exactly. Cool, right? Because, you know, like you said before, and everyone said that it actually, it's not a problem as far as the incest goes, like cousins or
I don't have a problem. Like people might have a more
nephew. Problem. I mean, honestly, like, I mean, even back, if you go back, anything in Jane Austen, they were always dating their cousins. They always married their cousins. They did it. So that's only a couple of 100 years ago. And this is supposed to be a medieval fantasy in medieval fantasy world. So technically speaking, if it's medieval, it'd be 1,000 years ago, almost a thousand years ago, and it's a fantasy. So the idea of like an aunt and a nephew to me isn't that, you know, terrible, considering that only a couple 100 years ago in Western civilization we had cousins marrying. So, and a lot of it had to do with sort of keeping the you know, the what is it?
Bloodline pure.
Yeah, the bloodline pure, exactly. And actually, there is something to that because of DNA and all that, we know too, right? Actually, I had to, like, when I was pregnant with my first son, I had to go for genetic testing. And one of the things that happens is that, of course, if you have a genetic anomaly, like, say, Tay-Sachs disease or something like that, and then your partner also has it, you have more likelihood of a child, you know, having that disease. So obviously, the closer your bloodline, the more likely you are to have that. So that's one of the things that they test for. So but don't you think it was interesting though that she just immediately went to how is this going to affect her life and her claim to the throne?
It's like, oh, you just found out that your entire life is a lie, that your father's not your father, that your father is a crown was a crown prince, and now you're gonna be a king, and also your mother was. It's like, so now you're going through like a crisis of faith and identity, and all of this while you have to battle an eldritch horror. So no, who cares? What about me? What about the throne? It's
Yeah.
like, okay. Yeah. We okay. I mean, it was shelved because the Night King has great timing, but still.
Okay, so Vanessa thinks that it does seem she thinks that John just didn't explain it, and it just seemed convenient that your brother and BFF want to be king, but he didn't say he wanted to be king, though, did he?
No, but again, it was interrupted, so he got as far as telling her the story. They didn't really get to fight over it, to argue.
Well, they got called away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay, Major, I saw your comments, and yeah, and Easton's as well. I'm just saying, like, this is a medieval fantasy world, and the Targaryens marry their, like, it's a different, they have a different culture set than the even people in Westeros. So I don't know. I personally didn't really find any of it icky. Like, I just don't. But and obviously she didn't either, because she didn't even respond to that part. Immediately she went to, this person's going to take the throne from me.
Yeah. Basically, it's like she forgot that. It's like she forgot that she was in love, because let us not forget, she said to Sansa, "I'm here because I love your brother."
Mm-hmm.
Who
Yeah.
manipulated who? But as
Yeah.
soon as that gets revealed, love.
Yeah, Jose says if she does love him, she would know that John most likely wouldn't take the throne from Dany. Yeah, he's never wanted it. He never wanted to be King of the North. He never wanted to be the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch. He's never wanted any of it. And his main goal right now is just to defeat the
survive.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I wasn't really, I don't know, but there wasn't enough time. Like, she didn't have enough time to talk it out with him, because they went immediately war. What I did like, though, is that as soon as, they did put it on the back burner. As soon as they went out there, she didn't kind of go out in a half, and he didn't go out in a half. They both kind of were like, okay, we have a task to deal with here. And they look at each other and nod. I did like that. Didn't you like that?
Yeah, I did.
Because it's just like, okay, we're going to put this aside, because honestly, in the grand scheme of things, it's just nothing, right? Yeah.
It's a petty argument at best.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Again, just get married and everything's solved.
Well, this is just it, right? They could rule together if they wanted to. Or he could be like a consort.
Although people are saying that she doesn't want that because a queen has to answer to a king. But it's like, people, this is Daenerys and John. Do you think they care about tradition? No, they do not. They really do not.
Vanessa says, I will feel like Dany, she doesn't feel welcome in the North, and I think she is paranoid because they don't want her to be queen, and she may think she is being tricked. Okay, that's a fair point.
Good one.
She's out of her element, and she's there with all of her, Southern savages or whatever.
Yeah.
Her Esso savages. Wow. So that's a fair point. Okay, but I think, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up, though, because I don't even know what time it is, to be honest with you. Tatiana, you know what time it is?
It's 8:10.
Yes. So I think we're going to... Yeah, so we've been going for 3 hours.
Yeah. Nothing.
I know. 1 a.m. in the UK. Wow. Okay.
Nice.
But
yeah.
Where are you? Where'd you go?
I'm still here.
You're in the dark. Oh, I think what did I do?
I don't know. I'm right here.
Did I turn off your camera? Oh, there you are.
Hi.
Why is it? Can you guys see Tatiana? Oh, there she is.
Oh, hi, Lisa. Sorry for the lateness. We've been here 3 hours.
We're just wrapping up. Hi, Lisa. How are you? So nice to see you. The night is dark and full of hedgehogs. I love this stream. I think they are the only ones I'm watching live because there are so many. I know there's so many. I know it's been kind of like a little overwhelming. I think after this, my crown is falling off, girls and guys. If there's guys in the chat, I think when this series ends, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of like, you know, away from Game of Thrones because it's a lot, right? Especially with all the you know, analysis that are happening and all the theories, and it gets kind of crazy.
I have an entire
so
list
tell anybody
of things that you could watch, that you should watch, that I'm not sure why you're not watching right now because they're amazing, but you know, and there will be great costume analysis videos, like, and with an E.
Yes.
Which I will not stop annoying you about it. I will never stop until you watch that show.
I will watch it again. I will watch it eventually. I'm Canadian. I should be watching it. I'm watching so many shows. I'm watching what am I watching? Well, I'm watching American Gods, which I mean this season's not as great for me. I'm not loving it as much as I did last year.
I miss old media. I loved old media.
I loved old media too. She was amazing.
Okay. She's not killing me, but she's okay. Cool.
So guys, we're going to do this again next week. We'll watch, I think next week's episode is going to be longer, a little bit longer. And I think it's going to be a big boss battle.
That is the longest battle. That's the longest battle in TV history. Like,
so
seriously.
How long's the episode supposed to be? Do you know?
About 84 minutes.
Whoa, crazy. Yeah. And it looks like, I mean, they've got it queued up to go, right? So it's going to go right into it.
Yep. It's gonna be hell on earth, and we're gonna love every second of it.
I can't wait. And it's gonna be so awesome.
Lisa Jonty asked, "Did you ever watch The Dressmaker?"
I haven't.
No, but I heard of it. I started watching a review of it, but I stopped because I wanted to watch it.
The show that I'm really looking forward to once Game of Thrones is over is it Bad Omens?
Oh yeah.
That looks so good.
With David Tennant.
And it's also a Neil Gaiman story. And the costumes look really good in that, actually. Yeah. So I think because you got Heaven and Hell.
I think like a good video for you to do will be the costumes on the movie The Great Gatsby.
Oh, okay.
Because I mean I haven't seen the movie, but I've seen like reviews and I've seen like the trailers. And the costumes look amazing. And you've never really done a video on the 1920s.
Well, I'm doing I've been watching all of Mrs. not Mrs. Maisel. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is 50s, but what's the other one about the detective in Australia in the 20s? I'm gonna do a video on that as well. I've seen 3 seasons of it. Do you know the one I'm talking about? It's Mrs. There's the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, but it's a Mrs. something as well. So it's on. So yeah, I'm going to do that. And then what is the other thing I was going to do? I have so much stuff on my back burner. Yes, I have done Westworld. You should. Oh yeah, The Last Kingdom. I've heard that's really good. Other people have asked me to watch that. So anyways, yeah, it'll be nice to have a break from Game of Thrones though. What's that, Tatiana?
Also, Anna Karenina, the movie Anna Karenina with
Anna Karenina, yeah.
The costumes are insane. I mean, it won best costume design in the Oscars too. But you really do. Like,
yes, I did get to interview Ruth Carter, which was fantastic. Actually, Tatiana, that interview I did last week with the woman who did The Chaperone, that was 1920s, and that had the lady from. Oh, that's the other one I was going to do. Downton Abbey. Anyway, I'll have a lot of stuff to do. You know, I think I just need a little break from Game of Thrones after this is done, though.
I love Downton Abbey. Yes. Do a video on Downton Abbey. Do a video on Downton Abbey.
So, Tatiana, when are you moving to school? When's that happening?
Probably I have to be in New York before August 31st, so around
Okay.
that time I'll be there.
So if anybody doesn't know, Tatiana is going to New York City, and she's going to be studying at, what's the name of the school?
Pace University.
Yeah. And you're doing, is it a master's?
Yep.
In what's the name of the subject? Is it costume design?
No, it's in theater. I'm
Theater.
in acting.
A master's in theater. Yeah. You know, you can't get a master's in theater in Canada.
You can't, or you can, or you can't.
You can't.
No?
I have an undergrad in theater. You can't get a master's in theater in Canada.
Oh, well,
you have to go to the States to get it. You can get it. You can get a master's in what is it? Not applied arts, but fine arts. So, but it wouldn't be in theater though.
Oh.
Oh, Asen says, when I was at costuming school, my history teacher said Downton Abbey is one of the best historically accurate costumes. Yeah, I totally agree. It's very, very good and beautifully done. And she was very picky in that matter.
Start with Mary and just go from there. Because Mary
my mom and I just recently rewatched the entire Upstairs Downstairs, which is basically like Downton Abbey is based on it. But it's really funny because you can sort of see with the wigs and some of the costumes that it's got that sort of 70s influence on it. Like, you know, I always find that wigs in the 70s, if it was a historical thing, they always look a bit big. They're always like a little bit on the large side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, when you say Pride and Prejudice, do you mean the one with Colin Firth? Because that one is exquisite. It's my favorite.
That one and the one with Keira Knightley. They also have really pretty costumes.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it has really good cinematography. Like, there's some really beautiful shots.
Okay, everyone. So we're going to wrap up. So Tatiana is going to be in. So Tatiana, I should come down to New York and visit you.
Sure. Or I can come up to Canada. I've never been to Canada.
Or you can come to Canada.
Yeah.
Toronto's not that far from New York, by the way. New York City.
1-2 hours flight. I mean, I'm glad to.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. And I think we have these direct flights from New York City. Like you come to the island kind of thing. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so everyone, we're gonna let you go. Bye.
Bye, darling.
Everyone have a great week. Enjoy the next episode, and we'll see you after that. Okay. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you so much. 30 days is gone, but everyone was so lovely. We didn't have to worry about moderating it at all. Okay. Bye, everyone.